Hey! Chloe's mic is off.
I don't know why it was off. Sorry, everyone. Sorry for the late start. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Clobberers and clobberettes and clobberoids and trekkies and trekkers and trekkoids and lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. Good to see you
Oh
all.
my.
Oh, 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 my. Welcome, everyone, to Saturday Night Star Trek here on Clobbering Times, the channel that clobbers things and talks about Star Trek and comics and other stuff, of course. What else would it be? Good to see you tonight. Here we are about to kick off the amazing, well, that's remains to be seen, doesn't it? Sixth season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and what a great crowd we already have with us tonight. And I'm so happy to see you all, my dear friends.
Yes, I missed you all over the week. I must confess, if I seem a little bit subdued this evening, I mean, it's incredibly hard not to be enthusiastic when I'm around my people, my fellow nerds and geeks celebrating Star Trek. However, if I appear a little subdued this evening, it is because I have been suffering with a ridiculously terrible migraine all day, and it's a serious, serious one. So I'm a little bit muted tonight, but I will
That's
try
okay.
and be as enthusiastic as normal. I'm going to try and do a wee, and hopefully my head won't explode. Are you guys ready?
Well, hey.
Whee!
Oh my goodness, they hurt yourself. Hey, pace yourself. And hey, you can do it. It's okay. You're all friends here. We don't mind if our first officer, who is unfortunately not feeling well, just goes a little bit laid back. Look, I told her, everyone, so because I know you're going to say the same thing. Hey, if you don't feel good. There was no shame in missing an episode, but she would not hear of it. She's like a great trooper. She plays hurt. You play when you're hurt, too. There's a lot. You get out on that field even if you're hurt, or even on your worst day, you go out there and command that ship. So,
I
but
love you all. You cheer me up so much. I mean, how could I not be here? And it's better to be here than pretty much anywhere else. I mean, other than a beach in Mexico, Hawaii, Jamaica, you know, this is where I choose to be, and I love you all very much.
Maddie is sending you hugs. There you
Oh,
go.
I love
Oh,
Maddie. She's such a
oh.
beautiful little princess.
We indeed. Well, I tell you what. Great to see you all, my friends, tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun. First off, of course, as we all know, my wonderful first officer has some books of fiction are out there available. So I want to show you this little message so that you can go look for them if you have not already. Of course, is the link in the chat below, my friends.
And these
There you
people really
are.
are our friends. Do you see these beautiful messages to you and I, and just supporting both of us, this channel, all the friends that we've made here, the things we do, the things we care about. I love each and every one of you. What a great group of friends you all are. And I
Yeah.
hope each and every one of you will get to the Vegas Con, a Star Trek Con, because I will be there. And we all really need to have lunch together and have a little mini clubby con.
Can't wait. Can't wait to see you. And again, you go. I look so forward to this every week, my friends, and you all make it special by just by being here, and of course participating, and it's fantastic. And we will, in fact, I don't really have any show notes per se, other than Monday night. I don't exactly sure how I'm going to do it yet, but it is the anniversary of a very sad event for us here who loved our dear departed friend Mark C. And Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, we will just do a little bit of a tribute to the late, great Mark C, our dear friend.
Yeah,
And
a
looking
very
for,
sweet man.
and absolutely, and we will talk about him. We'll have some guests pop in, and we'll see we'll just do that a little bit on Monday night since the show is and ever shall be named after him. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that M in the chat, my friends. I appreciate it.
Love seeing those
You're,
M's.
yes, thank you so much. There, we miss him big time. Um, Now, let us, of course, begin with our hellos to our wonderful friends. What we like to do here is talk to our good friends, by acknowledging your existence here in the chat. Anyone out there lurking that doesn't show up and put your presence in the chat, that's always fine. If you're out there and we don't know who you are, we love that you're here and we appreciate you so much. But the ones who do holler at us in the chat and then who do participate, um, we just like to shout them out before
We
we
do.
start and then after the
But we
show.
also love our lurkers. Clobby is correct. We are lurker lovers around here. So those of you who simply podcast this show and you don't participate in the live chat or any of the visuals, this is the grand beginning of the show. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and I hope you have a great time.
Absolutely. And we will start out by let's see here. Who do we have here with us this evening? All right, let me get to me battings here. Of course. uh, oh wow, look at I'm seeing people pop in. Like I like to write the names down so I get them all. So I don't like to miss anyone. So I think I'm getting everyone as they pop in. Um, our wonderful what our let's see, our good buddy Chief Engineer Mark D with a C. We always want to give him a mention on the show. He's very important to the show. We love him. He's a great friend. He can't make it tonight. He's got things to do, but he will say, he'll probably send in a hello later or something like that. But either way, he can. He's busy doing family stuff, so he
Yes,
won't be here with us tonight. But we'll get along without him. And he's with us in spirit. So if you're out there, bro, we love you and thank you for being. Hope you're having a wonderful time what's going on, whatever's going on with you tonight with the family. Um, and a shout out to our wonderful, uh, lovely, let's see, communications officer. Sorry, I was writing a name down.
that's okay.
Um, Anti-derivative Jill. Jill, it is great to see you.
My
It was
fellow
great to see
nerd,
you.
my fellow INTJ. You know I love you, Joe.
Good to see you, Jill. Uh, our chief of security, the great Lord Thoth, LT. Avon lives and long live the Legion, brother.
LT! So nice to see you and Mrs. LT. And where Avon is concerned, I have a surprise for you as we will be debuting an Avon emoji for members of
Oh,
this channel when we reveal our memberships. So we will be
yeah.
able to pop Darrow's head into the chat at will and even at random if the occasion calls for it. So LT, lots of good fun stuff that is bound to give you a chuckle on the way, our fine sir.
Our navigator and our helmsperson, Raymond Feliciano and the wonderful Sander Feliciano,
Yes,
and great mods, of course. Great to
they
see you
are
here.
the most romantic wrenches on the internet.
It is great to see you, my friends. Of course, let's see here. The great wrencher of bronze, the bronze wrencher himself, Eric K, is here.
Mwah,
Dude,
mwah,
great to see
mwah.
you, brother.
Love,
The
love, love you.
other fantastic, legendary wrench, Chris Persia, is here. Buddy, thank
Sending
you
you
for being here.
billions and billions of kisses.
Let's see here. Indeed. Hey. Pace yourself now. Pace yourself. You want to. Let's see here. All
A
right.
lovely person by the name of Pippi? Pippi Gate?
Pippi Gate. I've never seen Pippi Gate. I've never seen you here
Well,
before.
welcome.
But welcome. I hope we're pronouncing that right. I don't know if we're saying that correctly, but it is great to see you. Thank you so much. We always love when new people show up.
Oh, you're
Um,
gonna love it here. If you choose to stay in our chat, we have such an amazing community here. It's like going to a con and sitting down at a table with a bunch of Trekkies. You're gonna love it here. You're gonna have a great time, but also no pressure. If you just want to podcast, you can just podcast as well.
which she by that she means lurking and not participating. I mean, I don't know if anyone. I've never heard that term until you said it, so just wanted to
Oh,
be sure. I wanted to clarify that for him.
oh,
Where are we? Oh, um, Cardinal Sin, our great buddy Gil Cardinal Sin. I want to thank you for this very generous $20 super sticker card. Gil, brother, you're too kind, my friend. I tell you what, as I always say, and I thank you. Cannot thank you enough for all your wonderful contributions and your friendship to the channel. And I look forward to talking to you again soon, buddy.
And I agree, Cardi. Gil,
And
it's nice to see you. Thank you so much for supporting Klobby's channel. It really means a lot to me, and I appreciate your friendship. And we got an instant response from Pippygate, and it is a great response. The response is
that's
Nanu
what
Nanu.
Nano Nano. Love it. I love that
I
show.
see your Nanu Nanu, and I
Yeah.
raise you an LLAP.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Mr. Angel, what's up, Chef? What's going over there? What's up? What's cooking, Chef?
Chef.
Good to see you. The Comic Relief Crusader. Hey there, man. By the way, Comic Relief Crusader, I did see the question you asked me on Twit. I don't check it all the time, but I did see that. It was a very interesting question. I'm actually trying to give it some thought because it's a nuanced question. But I'll get back to you when I can on that one. Um, but thank you for being here, Comic Relief Crusader. Thank you to the great Eric K for that. What? There we go. $5 super chat. I will admit I accept kisses from a sick Raquel. Well,
I love you, Eric, so much. I love you so much. Such a sweet human
oh
being,
dear,
such a gentleman and a sweet person. I
the
just
man,
absolutely love him.
a great gentleman. Anyone new pops in while I'm doing this, let me know because I'm going to concentrate on the ones I have. Random outsider, buddy.
Phantom Outsider.
Good
Oh,
to see you.
somebody just unleashed the Shezbot in the chat,
Chazlot. Love it.
and that was perfect. Love it, love it. Thank you, Pleasant Valley Picker, BC.
I think our good friend J Man had to leave, but he did stop in. So big shout out to the great J Man. Love you, man, dude. You're
Oh
an
yeah,
amazing, great friend. We love J
yes,
Man around here. So
yeah.
yeah,
Really
just
sweet person. And follow J Man on YouTube, please. You'll love him. He's a great geek.
yep, absolutely. JT Kirk, my friend, always great to see you here.
Speaking of Star Trek nerds,
There you
my
go.
friend JT Kirk is here. Love, love, love you. Good to see you.
Our great friend D Bud Martin. It was good hanging out with you at Nick's stream last night, buddy. It is always fun, man. You are a great friend, and we appreciate you.
Yes, agreed. Nice to see you. Mwah, mwah.
Hey, Phantom Outsider said he just finished Blake 7, Season 4, Episode 1. That would be Rescue. All right, cool. Keep me posted, man. I got so many, now I got four friends who are getting close to finishing Blake 7. You don't know how happy, you have no clue how happy you're making me. I mean, even if you don't like it, we'll still be able to talk about it. But the fact that, you guys are just watching it, like it or not, does me, it does my heart good. Max Redstone, thank you for that. By the way, hail and welcome to the great Max Redstone, master of the limerick. Check your email. I'm leaving early tonight. Okay, will do, Max. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Thanks, brother. I'll keep that marked so I can remember. Hopefully I'll remember. But Max, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing okay. And Avon lives to you, sir.
That's
Um,
yes. Max is a hardcore chronic. Like
he's a Blake 7 fan, big
Blake
time.
7 is a disease that's in his veins, and he does not want to be cured. And it's so exciting to be around him because, of course, I've fallen in love with Blake 7 because I think it's great science fiction with a wonderful stage quality to it and excellent writing. So, Max, you're going to be missed tonight. And surely, everyone around us will remind us to read your
Villa lives.
excellent limericks.
Villa lives. I love it.
Villa
I love it.
lives.
Yes, everyone. Looks like our friend Comic Relief Crusader. I didn't know you're doing a channel, but anyway, he has, and he's passed. Good, congrats. He's passed 100 subs. Everyone here, if you
Oh,
please
yay.
go sub to him. Thank you. He's a friend of the channel. He joins us all the time, so please go sub to him. Hail to the great Steve Mitchum. What's up, bro?
Steve Mitchum, Conan in Las Vegas with the cutest baby daughter in the world. He's our friend in real life. We love him very much. Steve Mitchum, nice to see you.
Yes, indeed. And I know we're getting kind of a late start. That's my fault, everyone. So we'll speed it up. I promise, so we can get to the episodes. Um, Scuba Pete, brother, always a
Scuba
pleasure.
Pete! And guess what?
And
Leslie is here as well. So, Mrs. Scuba Pete, I'm blowing you bazillions of kisses. It is so great to see you, and I'm so happy you're joining us tonight. Hello to the Pete's.
good to see you there, Pete, brother. The great ED, enigmatic drop bear, buddy. Good to see you,
Nice
my
to see
friend.
you.
Great friend. Great to see you there. Our great super pal, Cal L 48. Brother, always a pleasure.
Real soup. That's the
Yep.
real soup.
Real soup there. Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's see here. Who got a few more? Eric Carroll, welcome. Always great to see you, my friend.
Fabulous Irishman. Welcome.
Absolutely. Um, wow, our wonderful, fantastic friend Hungry Boy is here. Hungry for Irish stew and the silence of Patty Stew. What a name! Master and creator of the Claboni.
Yes, the Clawbony, the one and only, of course. Hungry Boy, you know I love you. Good to see you. Excited to dig into it tonight and looking forward to your excellent comments.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see here. Uh, Mr. Tickle Trunk, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Tickle Trunk. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Terrell 72. We gotta speed.
Tyrell.
We're so late. We gotta speed these real. Everyone, I promise. We'll go through them real quick.
Burn through them.
Pleasant Valley Picker. Hello, hello. Parrot Head, my friend. Great to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure. Zacharat 315. Thank you. Trevor. Is it Trevor Cunningham? Is that what you say? Is it?
Yes, it's Trevor Cunningham.
Okay, I barely wrote the name down in time. So, Trevor Cunningham, thank you so much for being here. Sorry about that, just going so fast. James Caserta, hello there, James. Good to
Evening.
see you. Lee Anthony Davis,
Hello.
good to see you, buddy, as always. Wolfie,
We have to stop on this one.
good to see you, Wolfie. You're going to hurt yourself again.
I love you, Wolfie. Nice to see you.
Anyone else on the way while we're moving? We will definitely shout you out when the opportunity arises. And I'll try to keep track of anyone else new coming in. We're going to get to our episodes because of me we're late. So let me see if we can get this thing started. As anyone new here, we're reviewing, of course, all of Real Star Trek. That's our ongoing mission here. 1966 through 2005, only real legit Trek. We did the original series, we did the animated series, the original crew films, and now we are on starting tonight, starting proper anyway, with 4 episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation Season 6. And I will now turn it over to my wonderful first officer, and she will explain her source that she is consulting for our review of these episodes. Here you go. Number 1, take it away.
Well, it all started when Clubby and I became friends a couple of years ago. We were thinking, are we going to do this like a review? And if we do it like a review, are we going to do it like everyone else? Are we going to review scene by scene? And then we realized we really wanted to focus on hardcore Trekkies, the real 735ers. And so we decided that we were just going to wing it. We were going to pretend like we were at a con and we were all going to sit down at this con table and talk and hang out. And so because of that, we needed a launching off point. But rather than using the user generated stuff that permeates the internet, because so much of it is inaccurate and is leading to a lot of factoid fan lore, we're using this book. And the book that you're going to see the nice visual in front of you. But if you're just podcasting, I'll read you the title. It's Star Trek 365: The Next Generation, and it's written by a woman named Paula M. Block. Now, she is a prolific Star Trek writer. She gets a bit of help from her husband, Terry J. Erdman, but he's just riding second chair here. And you'll see, if you purchase this book, and many of you have, that the introduction is by Ronald D. Moore. And this book has basically received the blessing of the cast, the crew, the production, everyone involved in making TNG. The reason being, Paula M. Block does not go to sources all over Hell's Half Acre to formulate her books. She goes to the original source material. She goes to people and she interviews them. And she talks about the behind the scenes things, production stuff that's never been revealed before. Sometimes it's visuals. But we start off with that really nice summary. Claudia and I riff on that summary. We talk about that summary for a little while. And then we rate the episode. And then we do something that's very unusual. We put our chat first. And the reason why we put our chat first is this community is a community of friends who are real Trekkies, real 735ers. And so they put up their grade for it, A, B, C, or 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, they grade it, and then a little comment. And so we all hash it out. And together that we criticize, we celebrate, and commiserate over Star Trek. And that's how we play this game, folks.
Welcome the woke breaker there. And James, yes, at 735 is how many installments, if you break them all down from 66 to '05, that you have of Star Trek, be it movies and film and episodes and all that stuff. So that's why it's the 735 Club. Not everyone knows that, so it is good to always explain that every now
I
and then.
do like that he says a crazy person and then a question
Well,
mark,
yes.
because a 735er is something I made up. And it's just because I got tired of telling people 1966 to 2005, but then technically saying 1964. I just wanted people to understand that it's only the 735. There are no exceptions.
Indeed.
735
Indeed.
iterations of real Star Trek.
Indeed. So we're ready for our first episode of the evening.
We are, boss. We totally
All right.
are.
Okay, everyone. Well, our first episode of the evening is Realm of Fear. Would that be correct?
It is correct, Captain. Realm of Fear. This is season 6, episode 2. We all watched this. Well, most of us watched it for the first time on September 28th, 1992. And I'm going to go ahead and stay copyright compliant, reading from that block text, Star Trek 365, The Next Generation. And would you please turn to page 269 of your hymnal? I'm going to read extemporaneously from this text, and then we'll hash it out. So let's go.
Go for it.
Perennially nervous engineer Reginald Barclay earns the respect of his peers by coming up with a plan to reach the crew of a starship that's trapped in a plasma stream. But his boost in personal esteem is nearly wiped out when he's invited to join the rescue team. Barclay's lifelong phobia of transporters won't allow him to accept. After a session with Counselor Troy, however, he bucks up his courage and joins the team, only to discover that his fears may have been well placed. Nostalgia is the mother of many creative efforts. And add a little phobia into the mix, and you've got a Brannon Braga script for the next generation. My favorite TV show of all time, as I'm sure many science fiction writers would say, is The Twilight Zone, Braga says. Realm of Fear is my homage to Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. That episode of a classic anthology series featured William Shatner as an airplane passenger recently recovered from a nervous breakdown. When he spots a gremlin on the wing of the plane, he tries to warn the plane's crew. Not surprisingly, no one believes him. For the TNG episode, Braga playfully substituted a thing in the transporter for a thing on the wing. I thought it would be fun to explore the notion that just as not everybody likes to fly, not everybody likes to transport, Braga explains. Well, it's not like he thought of that on his own, Bones McCoy. Anyways, what do you mean my molecules are going to be taken apart? How do I know I'm going to come back together in exactly the right way? He says, laughing. Barclay seemed like the right guy to have that kind of neuroses. Braga should know. He's one of those guys who doesn't like flying, although he's better now than he was when he wrote the episode. I'm still not fond of it, he admits. It's not really the act of flying. It's being trapped in a small compartment and not being able to get out. More claustrophobia than anything else. I'm just not comfortable with it. And there is another tile. Shall I read a tile 270, Captain?
Please.
In 1927, German theoretical physicist and Nobel Prize winner Werner Heisenberg wrote, "The more precisely the position is determined, the less precisely the momentum is known in this instant, and vice versa." In layman's terms, this tidbit of insight, known today as the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, means that it's impossible to measure the present position of a particle and accurately determine its future momentum. Or, for the troglodyte layman, you probably can't get there from here. Unfortunately, if true, it means that Transporter Chief O'Brien would be out of a job because he couldn't accurately calculate just where an away team would beam to, and that would render the transporter technology impractical, if not downright deadly. Of course, this didn't deter scenic artist Michael Akuda when he designed the transporter system schematic that went behind O'Brien's console. Note that I included a block for the Heisenberg compensator, Akuda said. I thought of it as a gag years before I had worked on Star Trek because I had read that Heisenberg uncertainty principle would make a transporter possible. I was hoping that someday Gene Roddenberry might point to the compensator if anyone tried to invoke the Heisenberg in order to criticize the transporter. If nothing else, Gene could have used it to indicate that the show's staff at least knew about the problem. As far as I know, he never did. However, a writer for Time magazine once asked me how the Heisenberg compensator would work. I haven't a clue, of course, so I answered, "Very well, thank you." A few weeks later, I was delighted to see the quote printed in Time.
Huh.
And that is all the block text has to say about Realm of Fear. What did you think of the coverage, Captain? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, first up, hello there, Keely Chow. Roll Tide into those
Hey!
coming up from the dump raid, they said, and hello, hail the dump.
Oh, and
Um,
James and Captain James T. Skywalker is here as well,
as I was
boss.
about to say that as well. I was just about to say that. So hello there, Captain James Skywalker. Good to see you there, buddy. Um, I like the episode. I mean, look, I'm a Barkley fan. I'm going to admit it to you, folks. It doesn't take a whole lot, uh, usually, and I'm also going to give a guy that I beat up on a lot, Brandon Braga, a little bit of credit
Hmm.
because Brandon Braga has always seemed to me to be someone obsessed with monster this and monster that, and shock stuff. I don't mind doing it. In this case, I love the way they used it because it really wasn't a monster. We just thought it was. It was scary. And he did a good idea. A good. I think it was good that he did a little head fake and made it look pretty scary. That little thing that was in the transporter beam, and then turned out to be those people. I like that. I liked all of the conversations about the fear of transporting and stuff. If anybody it's going to be Barkley. By the way, give us a sound check out there if y'all hearing us okay. I just want to make sure we're coming through without any bad. If you're getting any noise, let us know because I keep hitting my stupid. But anyway, I've always found this episode thoroughly entertaining, but I got to admit, usually when an episode focuses on Barkley, that's the way it turns out for me. Thank you,
Hmm.
Jill. You really appreciate you that. That's our communications officer doing a damn kind job. Thank you there for that as also, captains. So I really enjoy the episode. I really enjoy Barkley, and I like them dealing with this in a whole episode. Thanks, D Bud. Appreciate you, and thank you, Hungry Boy.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for that, and Chris Persia. Appreciate you and JT, all of you. So kind to do that for us. It's nice to have sound checkers. I don't use them as much as I don't mention it much, but once in a while I like to get it out there. But I like that they address this in an episode and they did it in an entertaining way. And if anyone in the 24th century is going to have such a hang up, it's going to be Barkley. And I
Hmm.
love Dwight Schultz. So I presume you have notes.
I do have notes, but before I get to my notes, I would just like to say truly, truly, I mean, everyone already knows this, but you are my Star Trek soulmate. I would just like to echo and amplify everything you just said. I feel the exact same way.
Oh, cool.
And everyone here knows how much I love Barkley. He is a true nerd, an actual nerd in real life. It's nothing to make fun of. Obviously there are people who think it's super funny and that it's awkward and stuff. I'm proudly a nerd and I don't care. And Reginald Barkley is a hero for me. So if you're new around here, the boss just asked me to read off my notes. And I take notes when I watch Star Trek in chronological order every year, starting in January. So these are my notes from this year. This is widely noted as the episode that started the "What rank is O'Brien" controversy.
Oh, is it?
Um, yeah, because
Oh,
of
I didn't know
course,
that.
yeah, because of the Sir to Barkley and because of
Right.
his
Oh,
hits.
I got you. Okay.
So if you're playing advanced Star Trek trivia, you should know that Realm of Fear started the "What rank is O'Brien" controversy. I mean, it gets straightened out, but I mean, Jerry Taylor should have been on top of that because it never should have happened to begin with. And then I have
Ah,
in my
I got
notes,
you.
I love Barkley. And then right underneath, I put, this is a very cool science episode. I love that the computer goes Dr. Google It's incredibly prophetic with regard to the misuse of information access and technology. So a lot of people, doctor Google their symptoms instead of going to the doctor. And
Yeah.
Barclay does that here. And so incredibly prophetic. And Star Trek is often like this. It's far-flung technology that's hard to wrap our heads around. It's impossible at present, but then all of a sudden it's here, and it's a regular part of our lives. So there is the computer, Doctor Googling, and then I put in my notes, Dwight Schultz is brilliant. He is a brilliant actor and just a brilliant person. And then I put, Barkley is so brave. I love this crazy transporter situation. And then I put, I love this episode. It is just wonderful science fiction fun. And yeah, who doesn't love Dwight Schultz and who doesn't love Barkley? And it's a great episode and I love it.
I'm not so sure you could have handled this material without any other character with any other character, and I'm glad that they did, because it's something they have never done an episode really revolving around. They've done so much with the transporter, gimmicky, especially on this show, especially.
Yeah.
I like that you used Barkley. So this was an ingenious way to use Barkley. Hello there, Cavachino, Cavalman Clay, and the great Just Joe. What's up, Jumper?
Hey.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. I love the way they use Barkley in this one.
Mhm.
I love the way they use both of them. Him and them. I mean, him and the whole idea being used to break down and discuss the concept of the transporter, and how now by this point it's been around for a couple hundred years. It's not a big deal to most people, but still, um, a rare case of someone who goes out of his way to avoid using transporters whenever. Obviously, he's used them before, because he didn't say he'd never used one, but he
Yep.
he spits. He's like he told Troy. You wouldn't believe how many times how much time I've spent on shuttles and all these things going, taking the long way around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's precisely because he's not a geek. It's because he is a hardcore nerd. He has studied this and is a scholar and an academic of this technology. So he's published and studied in this area of advanced academics. So this is higher ed. This isn't simply an undergraduate degree that he has. So here, he's at a master's level at least, if not a doctoral level, and he is absolutely, and that's why he's afraid of it. So because he realizes the way it can screw up, and how delicate the idea is. That's why he's afraid of it, and so I think that makes it even cooler.
Yes, and it's a very again. I love that this episode is simply about dealing with a scientific problem. Sometimes those episodes could be so good, sometimes not as good, because you make fun of the techno babble or whatever. But sometimes, if you have the right bit of drama, you have the right bit of characterization mixed in with talking about a complex scientific problem, it could be really good Star Trek. In my opinion, this is top notch Star Trek for that, and we say that a lot. It's the highest compliment you can pay an episode when you go, "This is top notch Star Trek."
It
In my
is.
opinion, this is double D, double C. Good to see you there. Double D almost said. Double C, welcome, and JD Lewis, welcome. Good to see you, my friends.
And anti-derivative Jill is saying because of the physics. Yeah, Jill, one of my favorite movies of all time is Mind Walk. And when discussing the physics of where your molecules can be and how we appear and energy and matter work in Mind Walk, you just imagine um, trying to harness this idea in a scientific way. But isn't it wonderful? Well, there'd be no other way. Of course, it would be in a scientific way, but you know what I mean. Not being science fantasy, but being science fiction. But isn't it wonderful how at the time it seemed absurd that Barclay would ask a computer about his illness, and yet now that's something everyone does like twice, three times a week. It's asking questions of their phones, their Alexa, their Siri, their Google about all of their illnesses, of whether or not their dog is sick, and this, that, and the other. So it's so funny because although the transporter technology isn't within our reach yet, at the time Neither was simply querying a computer about your illnesses. And yet, here we are. It's very nerdy, 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 nerdy. I love, love, love it.
Another reason I love it is because I don't know if anyone is familiar with the very first Star Trek novel by James Blish called Spock Must Die. No, the first Star Trek fiction book by when it's called Mission to Uranus, but that was a children like a children's novel, by the way. Just so I'm making the distinction, but the very first Star Trek novel by James Blish was called Spock Must Die, and it opens with a an argument between Scotty and McCoy about. And McCoy taking the obviously the anti-transporter side about this very topic. So it's been mentioned, even though I know this novel, but James Blish is also the guy who novelized the TV series episodes for
Mhm.
books. So just letting you know if you're out there, if you have not read Spock Must Die, and it's got some issues with it. Again, similar. It's similar to Enemy Within. Excuse me. So
Yeah.
just this is an argument addressed in some form of Star Trek before. I don't know if
Mhm.
any of you read that book, but I just thought I would point that out
I
there.
have it shelved, but I haven't had an opportunity to read it, obviously, because I do a lot of academic reading. But perhaps
Gotcha.
I should dig into that and get that done, Captain. Thank you
Well,
so much for the recommendation. You
if
know,
for
I love
nothing else,
books.
if for nothing else, just for the interest of being the first Trek novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spot Must Die is a pretty good book. The ending, we won't go into, it, but the ending was real annoying there. But yes, and it's a very science fiction thing to do. So, where were I? Let's see here. Now, everyone, what we do, this is the part of the program, and I realize we're behind the time a little bit, is I will ask my wonderful first officer her rating of Realm of Fear. I will give mine. Then I will ask you to give us yours, and of course, any comments you may have, if you have them, about the episode Realm of Fear. So, number one, what is your rating of this episode, Realm of Fear?
Realm of Fear is an A plus for me. I believe that this is definitive Star Trek, and for me, this is true science fiction. And I'm sorry, this I realize that this episode only deserves an A, but it gets a plus for me because it has my Dwight Schultz in it, who is an
Yeah.
actual nerd. We are a rare breed. People are always trying to put us in with dorks and geeks, or trying to make us feel awkward. Dwight Schultz's character is a true nerd, and it's got to get a plus from me because it's very rare to see a true nerd on TV. And I love him. I love him. I love him.
I got an A plus as well. I dearly love this episode, and again, I'm a sucker for a Barkley episode. Um, he's just so much fun. Howlin' Mad Murdoch and Barkley, he's great. So yeah, that's mine. Now I will ask our wonderful friends in the chat. Please give your. I'm giving the word now. The word is given. Go for it and give us your reviews, and we will tag them and we will give them to you. And while I'll tell you what, we have a little treat for you. Our good buddy Max Redstone has a lyric for the episode. While we're gathering up your reviews, I'll give you tonight's lyric for Realm of Fear. Go for it, number one. Get those ready, and I'll give the lyric.
I will chase them all down in the chat as we speak.
All right, here we go. From the great Max Redstone regarding Realm of Fear. Okay. Mr. Barkley, a contradiction in terms. He's afraid of technology, not germs. Yet he came up with a scheme in the transporter stream to rescue crewmen turned out turned I think he meant turned out to be phase worms. I get them. Oh, turned to out, but he means turned out to be. I'm gonna do it all over again. Okay, Mr. Buckley, a contradiction in terms. He's afraid of technology, not germs. Yet he came up with a scheme in the transporter stream to rescue crewmen turned into phase out worms, out of phase worms. I can't see. I need to put my computer closer. Well, my apologies, Max, for doing a horrible job with that, but we'll get it better next time. I promise. Okie dokie. Well, we got some of them. Turn to out of phase worms. Yeah, I know, Max. Look, that was me, not you. I'm dyslexic. Sorry about that, buddy. I'll do it over. I'm gonna do it over because Max goes through a lot of trouble for these things. Mr. Barkley, a contradiction in terms. He's afraid of technology, not germs. Yet he came up with a scheme in the transporter stream to rescue crewmen turned to out of phase worms. There. I'm so sorry, Max. I'm an idiot. What can I tell you?
You
Here we
are
go.
not an idiot.
I can prove it. I have documentation.
It's
Oh,
also really hard to read. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to read really small font as you get older in the digital spaces because your arms are never long enough for your eyes. After 50, no one's arms are long enough.
well, here we go. We got some. We got a bunch of reviews, and we'll try to speed things up as much as we possibly can. Everyone, because of my dumb late start. I'm sorry. Scuba Pete says, "A. I found this episode just as pleasing as a Betazoid plexing point. Just tap 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 it. Yeah, seriously, always love Mr. Barkley. I actually do that sometimes because of that episode, and it's probably just my imagination, but it actually works. But it's probably my imagination." Uh, Kal-El says, A plus. This episode dealt with the subject of phobias in a very intelligent manner. I also liked that while the crew did try to assuage Barkley's fear of using the transporter, they didn't dismiss his fear of using it entirely. Yeah, exactly. It was interesting to see what one sees while in a transporter beam. Yes, sir. You can find your next one here.
And doesn't it show the highest morals and ethics, Kal-El, that rather than just seeing that figure as some type of alien worm and just being grateful to be transported and to be safe, he reaches out and grabs the people, holds them. It's amazing, and it's such courage.
And the resolution to the dilemma presented in the episode was satisfying and actually made sense. Absolutely, Kal-El. Well said, buddy. Captain James T. Skywalker, sorry. B for our buddy Barkley. Yes, sir. I love him. Pleasant Valley Pinker says A minus. A very good episode. Barkley was a more realistic character on TNG. It was nice to see a character that had challenging flaws, but he overcame them to become a member of Starfleet. Um, that's one of two. To see if he has another one here. Hang on a second, Pleasant. An often overlooked and underappreciated character. It's also interesting to explore the transporter, even though a few episodes did. I think this one did it as well as any of them for me.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. And I think you're gonna get a resounding applause out of Jill on that one too. You know, Jill and I are both nerds. We're not geeks, and we absolutely love it when the transporter is used correctly instead of abused.
Mega Cropper, good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. A minus from our buddy Mega Cropper. Thank you. We appreciate seeing you here. Eric Carroll says B plus. Barkley episodes are always about him conquering his fears. I tend to like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. R in Feliciano Meaning Raymond says, no grade. I actually never saw the episode, so I can't give it a grade. Oh, I got you. Hand
Oh,
you my your agonizer, please, Raymond. As a pilot, I took people who were afraid of flying, flying. Yeah. Amazing how they got cured. Well, watch this one if you get a chance, Raymond. I think you might like it if you're a Barkley fan. Even
yeah.
if you're not, I think you might enjoy it. Wolfie
Whoops.
says,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, it's just the chat jumped, so I yelled
Oh,
whoops
okay.
because I
Oh, gotcha.
highlighted something and didn't want to. I wanted to start instead.
No problem.
I apologize.
No problem. Wolfie says, let's see here. A minus, rating A minus. This episode is fantastically creepy, playing off the already established transporter fears with creepy blue boogers that bite your arm.
I love Wolfie. I love Wolfie
I,
so much.
I believe this is the first time we get POV experience during transport, or at least when something goes wrong. It could be. It could
Hmm.
be. If not, it's got to be close to it. Um, ba, 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 ba. 3 4. Are we now in double-digit appearances in TNG of the Oberth class science vessel? Well, you have. I'd turn that question back on you, Wolfie. I
Yeah, you're
do
our
love.
resident expert, and if you want to wax philosophical or scholarly in the chat about that, please do because I love the fact that you are full on engineering nerd. And JT Kirk is right there with you. So if you guys want to nerd out in the chat, nerd away. We love it.
Are we now in double digit appearance? Oh, all right, let's see. Oh, I do love that they kept some continuity with this small detail over the years. Um, let's see, broccoli, computer water, computer specified temperature. We're all in agreement that the replicator would probably have saved preferences at this point, right? I
Yeah.
don't know, but I will agree with you. I will bow to you on that one for sure. The great LT, our chief engineer, Lord Grinch, is back and says C plus. Not a bad episode. Wow, a C plus, man. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. The science makes little sense, but story isn't bad. Barkley is the only reason this isn't a lot lower of a score. Sidebar: I own all the Star Trek
Oh,
novels.
you
What?
do?
All LT. Damn, dude, that's a big
Oh,
shelf there.
wow. I love
Dang.
books. I bet your house smells amazing. If you walk into a house and you don't smell books, it's just it doesn't feel as comfortable.
Wow, dude. Oh, that's a lot of books there, but I mean, they're still making them. You still
I
buy
beg your
every one?
pardon,
Wow.
boss man. Please
Yes.
excuse me. I'm sorry for interrupting you. But our very favorite family, one of our very favorite families, just walked through the door. A dad man walking 55 just walked through the door.
Oh my goodness, Dad Man Clan. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. To you and your wonderful family, we extend clobbering time love to you, buddy, and to the
Yes.
wonderful Mrs. Dadman and your whole family. Thank you for popping in, bro. It's good to see you. JT Kirk says 8 out of 8 heads of broccoli, 10 of 10. Okay. Classic Star Trek through and through. The life forms in the transporter beam scared me as badly as Barkley as a kid. Cheers to Dwight for his performance, A Realm of Beers.
A realm of beers instead of a round of beers. And JT Kirk, I love that you brought that up because now I'm going to turn a comment to my wonderful fellow INTJ and nerd. I love it when they call him broccoli because broccoli, of course, is a fractal. And I love that in this, we also have fractal concepts happening. So they're all saying broccoli, and I'm thinking fractal, Jill. Anyways, please continue, Clavi.
Eric K., the Great Bronze Rancher, says, A, a great Barkley episode. The sometimes your fears are fears as irrational as they are have a purpose beyond that which we know. Consequences turned out to be beneficial, but did Barkley lose something? I don't know. I do not know. Thank you, Great Bronze Rancher. Appreciate you. So the next two will be, of course, our wonderful communications officer, anti-derivative Jill, and then after that, the enigmatic drop air. So number one, if you would like to do the honors, if you feel up to it.
Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm loaded up on the Advil. Anti-derivative Jill, I just want to take 2 seconds, two wags of a dog's tail to say very quickly that anti-derivative Jill is a part of our crew here. She's our communications officer. We love her very much. She has her own channel, and she's brutalizing herself as a 735er reviewing filth. So please go on over and follow my very good friend Jill, our good friend Jill, and support her channel, please. Now let's get to her review because we are running behind. It's one of four. It's not an Esh pick. She's giving this episode an A. She says Barkley overcoming his fears of the transporter to save the crew of the Yosemite also overcomes the overabundance of imaginative science concerning the crew appearing as creatures. 204. Not having a B story and instead having Crusher examine a victim of the Yosemite accident and focusing on recreating the event using a containment field for the safety made the story stronger. I totally agree, and I bet you Michael
Absolutely.
Beacom loved that too. We hate those sucky B stories. 304.
Mm-hmm.
Giving O'Brien a fear that he overcame regarding spiders added depth to Barkley's concern. I also
Yeah,
enjoyed that the crew took Barkley seriously anytime he talked about having seen the creatures. You know what's weird
I
is
like
that
that
almost
too.
made that into my that almost made it into my notes. I have that overwhelming sense every time I watch it. That's trust. That's
Yes,
friendship.
that is I love that point from you
Yeah.
and Jill because yes, it would have been very tiresome if they'd have been treating him like, "Are you sure there's nothing wrong with you? You're always so nutty." But Picard right there, I mean, and he felt the the strength to tell O'Brien, "Wake the staff right now,"
Yeah.
when he confirmed, and they listened to him. I love that. That's well
Yes,
done.
that's when you know that you truly trust your friends and that they have your back and they know that they have to be there for you and find out what it is. Oh, we got a new review from our new person, so I'll just star that and continue reading. 404. Barclay shows us how Star Trek predicted the emergence of WebMD when he believes he contracted transporter psychosis. How Barclay kept this secret so long, however, will forever remain a mystery. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that aspect of it either, Jill, but I accept it because it's Dwight Schultz.
Yes.
Um, Enigmatic drop bear, the erudite bear, the drop the mic and walk away bear. He's got a four-parter here. He's given the episode a B minus. He says there were a number of interesting elements in this episode, but the direction was lackluster, particularly the pacing and some of the acting by the regular cast. 204. Reg's anxiety was deftly handled, as was the exploration of phobias. The innovation of bridging the transporter was clever, and the allusion to Cardassian machinations, or machinations, however you want to say that, was good world building. You notice how I can catch the difference between the Canadian and American pronunciations now? I'm on it. 304. Barclay's apprehension of the worm in the transporter matter stream makes a mockery of the pattern buffer and biofilters. It wasn't clear why the Yosemite crew manifested as worm creatures.
Hmm.
404. Geordi said he hadn't experienced anything out of the ordinary using the transporters. He had, though, with Ensign Rowe a few episodes earlier in the
Mm.
next phase.
Well, that yeah. I mean, I wasn't he just referring to immediately around that point of time, but yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, but
yeah,
well done, sir. As always, the great and Ed. Thank you so much, Ed. We appreciate you. James Caserta says something metaphysical about people in trouble, trapped somewhere, and only you can save them. Indeed,
yes.
indeed. Thank you so much,
I knew
James
you'd like
Caserta.
that comment. I had to start. I thought it was a
I
great
do like
comment.
it. Yeah, thank you, James. Appreciate you there. JD Lewis says it's a simple question. It's a simple equation. TNG plus Dwight Schultz equals A plus. I can't argue with that, buddy. I'm
Yeah,
pretty biased that way myself. I think the
yeah.
guy's fantastic.
Great comment, JD Lewis. And Captain, I beg your pardon. I hate to slam on the brakes again, but Max Redstone is bidding everyone good night. He says, okay, kids, I'm off to enjoy some evening festivities. Teleport. I told
Cool.
you, teleport. So, everyone, please wave good night to Max Redstone. And Max
Teleport.
Redstone, thank you for your marvelous limericks, and we will get to them, and everyone will
Thank you,
enjoy
buddy.
them.
Appreciate you, Max. Thank you, bro. You're the man, and love your work. And we will get. I will try to do a better job on those lyrics. And don't think I missed your little Villa episode response from your favorite episode, Hostage, where you go, teleport, teleport, and very clever to connect it to this episode. By the way, you're the man. You're amazing.
He is
Only
very clever.
Blake Seven freaks will get that. Um, Mr. Angel says, "A. I am with Barkley with this one. You could not pay me enough to use a transporter. No, know too well. Oh, know too well what it is. I avoid elevators, even if possible. Fun episode. Elevators, even. Wow. Not just transporters, but elevators. Wow. Okay. Um, D. Bud Martin says, A. Barkley episodes are the most memorable for me. Love seeing his character continue to grow.
Yay.
Right there with you, buddy. The wonderful Sandra Feliciano says, A. Barkley is fun. The episode showed it. It is possible to face fear and save the day. It's a lesson that transcends time and story. Viewers can be encouraged to push past their own fears.
And I love that
Absolutely.
Sandra's saying that because, everybody always says, oh, this is what I would do in an emergency. Oh, this is what I would do if that happened. And you don't know that. Some of the bravest people run and hide, and some of the nerdiest, seemingly feeble people are the ones who step forward and become heroes. And I love that Sandra is pointing that out. So beautiful comment, my wonderful friend.
Indeedishness. Um, D-Buds also said, I can verify what Raquel just said, but I can't hold my monitor far enough away to make sure I'm typing this right.
I thought you'd enjoy that comment,
D-Bud.
Bobby.
There you go. Max Redstone says, hey, I agree with Raquel's analysis. Now maybe if there was an appearance from the goddess of empathy.
Mm.
It's coming. Michael Beacom says, A minus. At first, I was God, not more transporter Deus Machina, but a new stupid subplot solving problems with science and a man mastering his own phobias. What TNG should have been doing all along. Thank you, Michael Beacom. I could not agree more.
And
Uh,
Michael, no stupid B plot.
that is always a plus. Always a plus for all of us, apparently.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Phantom Outsider says, A, it's odd that con, uh, while consulting the computers, WebMD, there was no entry by a transporter wary Starfleet admiral, and okay, and head of Starfleet Medical. How is it anyone would dare mock Admiral McCoy syndrome? That would be a good name for it, Phantom.
Love it,
McCoy
Phantom.
used the shuttle in season one, episode one. His dislike of teleporters transport teleporters were obvious. You've been watching Blake Seven, I know that because you told me. So you got teleporters in there. We're obviously well known. Mocking a fleet admiral is usually a career ender. Only thing missing McCoy cameo. That would be
Yep.
nice. They should have mentioned McCoy.
Hmm.
Um, Parrot Head, what's up, buddy? Says there's something in the transporter, and it was not a parrot though. Hey, well, hello there, Neurotonax Amanda Bear. Good to see you,
Yeah.
my friend. I'm glad to see you here. Um, I give it a B for Barkley, but actually, I somehow don't remember this episode at all. I probably fell asleep before every time it came on. Well, if you get a chance, give it another look there, Neurot. You might like it.
Yeah.
Um, Dad Man Walking, my friend, says uh, a minus. Really a solid episode. Great acting, showing fear in a realistic manner. Good evening to you, amazing host. Well, good evening to you, amazing friend and chatter and reviewer. Devin says, sorry for a rushed review, but just got done with Family Fortnite. Our family loves you,
Oh,
Clobbering Times and Raquel and Mark. Love back at you, my friend.
yeah.
I hope to
And
hope to talk with you soon. I hope to hang out with you guys soon playing that.
yeah, and I just wanted you to tell your beautiful daughter that we didn't know it was her when she materialized in the chat the other night. And had we known it was her, we would have greeted her very warmly. We did not know it was her. Mark told us afterwards. So please extend our warm hugs to your beautiful daughter and tell her thank her please for supporting this channel and this show and the other shows we do. She's a marvelous young woman, and you should be very proud.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pippi Gate, our new friend, says, "You matter until you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared. Then you energy. A brilliant comparison to the Twilight Zone. Thank you, Pippi Gate. Appreciate you. We are honored to meet you and have you here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Did I say all the hellos so far? We got people. I think we're up to date on that. Um, did I say hello to the woke breaker? I don't know if I did, but hello, woke breaker, just in case.
I
I
think it
think I
did.
did earlier, but yeah, but what
Yeah.
what the hell? It's good to see you here, woke breaker. We appreciate you. Okay. Are we ready to move on to our next episode of the evening?
Let's do it, boss. It's man of
All
the
right.
people.
All righty, folks. Man of the people.
It is.
And we're taking it very seriously. I just want you to know that.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, this is going to be a gong show. Um, I love this poster. I wish I didn't have a migraine headache because I would be howling
No, I'm
with
sorry. I couldn't
laughter.
resist.
I love the mustachio. It's great. I love it. Okay, folks, let's do this. Man of the People, season 6, episode 3. We all sadly, watched this for the very first time on October 5th, 1992, and we thought, this should be April Fool's. Man of the People, folks, let's stay copyright compliant, shall we? I'm going to be reading excerpts from Star Trek 365 The Next Generation, written by Paula M. Block. Please turn your hymnal to page 271, where I will be reading extemporaneously. Let's get to it. The Enterprise transports Alcar, a Lumerian ambassador, and his aged mother, Sev, to Rakeg, Saronia, where Alcar hopes to mediate a ceasefire between two warring local factions. When Sev unexpectedly passes away during the journey, Alcar asks the empathetic Troy to help him perform a funeral meditation. Not long after, Troy begins to age rapidly as she experiences a tsunami of irrational emotions that lead her to outlandish behavior. Realizing that Troy is behaving very much like Sev did before she died, Picard orders Crusher to conduct an autopsy on Alcar's mother without the ambassador's permission in order to determine what's ailing the counselor. As a stand up comedian said to an unreceptive audience in Las Vegas, it's a tough room. But he could have been talking about another tough room, located in Paramount's Hart building during the years The Next Generation was in production. The writer's room on TNG, very much like on a high school athletic team, Joe Manosky explains. It was very intense, mutually supportive, mutually competitive, memory imprinting time. Not like a football team, but more a wrestling team or gymnastics squad, because no matter how collaborative the process could be, at some point you were out there alone and you had to perform or you got cut from the team. Frank Abatamarco, I want to say, was just one of the many who faced both the room and the rarefied atmosphere in which Star Trek producers must not only survive but flourish. Brought in as a supervising producer to fill Jerry Taylor's staff role when she was moved up to the position of co-executive producer, Abeta Marco was a seasoned pro, a writer and producer with a roster of hard-hitting shows on his resume, including Cagney and Lacey, Equal Justice, and The Second Coming of Mission Impossible. His credits, like those of Michael Wagner or Wagner, depending if he's from Europe or not, whose departure begat the arrival of Michael Piller, Lee Sheldon, whom Taylor replaced, and others, were impeccable. But like those men and women who left the series without completing a full season, he soon found that Star Trek method of turning out a TV show wasn't for him. A shortened production window for Man of the People, his first episode, may have set the tone for his tenure. As the writers had been conditioned to do in a crunch, the script, a kind of update on the picture of Dorian Gray. Oh, well, that's in my notes. We're going to talk about that. And once again, they're using this weird word that Ronald D. Moore always uses. I hate it. Apparently, they gang banged this script as well
Oh,
by various members of the team, each taking an act of the episode, reportedly to no one's ultimate satisfaction. Abeta Marco contributed to the far more successful, hard-hitting two-parter Chain of Command 2 months later, but said farewell to his co-workers in mid-season. He went on to executive produce two made-for-TV movies and the television series Poltergeist, The Legacy and Delaventura, before transitioning to the real estate trade in Southern California. Today, he is the chairman of the Santa Barbara County Food Bank's Board of Trustees. And
well, better that than him doing a TV show.
there is another tile, but it is just on the fact that they have to film hand doubles when the
Uh,
actors are busy. And I'm not going to read that because I
yeah,
don't think
screw
that
it.
this
It's not
episode
worth
is
it.
worth it.
We don't even have to spend a lot of time on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, what'd you think of the coverage? What'd you think of the episode? Boss Man, dish the dish.
My biggest thing is a big old WHY question mark, as the prisoner said. Why? I'm looking at the script when someone brings it to me and go, why? I mean, look, not that the concept at its core is completely without value. He's this being who apparently uses the old Dorian Gray to channel his emotions off onto someone else and all that stuff. It's just that it was used. It probably wasn't going to be very good anyway. Don't get me wrong, but it was used to make it something tawdry and just shallow, superficial drivel. All the, it's going to again another. We get to see Counselor Troy go bad because that's somehow interesting to somebody. I don't know who it's interesting to, but maybe to some of these
No one.
writers.
No one.
And I guess I will give it credit for one thing that was the scene, cringy though it was, with Riker walks in on her after she takes the whatever ensign or whatever to her bed or whatever. I was like, I was I mean, I'm laughing at the show though, not with it. And that's the only time I even laughed at anything in the episode. The rest of them, I'm like, is this still going on? I keep falling asleep. It's just boring crap. And
Yeah.
I have nothing. I mean, it's tough. I've said this a lot lately. It's tough for me to even work up a lot of hate other than just making fun of it. I don't care. It's just fluffy, stupid, pretentious filler crap.
Well, I have tons of hate for it.
Go for it, because I mean, look, I do too. I think it's just blah garbage. Yeah,
As
I
much
hate
as
it, but
as
yeah.
much as I love that you put the snout on the serial killer, could we please take out Hungry Boy's Club Oni, please?
Are we ready for some
Creation that
Clavoni?
comes from the mind of
Right,
Raquel
hungry
Briggs
boy,
and that
Clavoni.
of Hungry Boy. This, folks, is this is a Club Oni, and we use it to clean up pop culture, much like it cleans up goose poop in Canada, cleans the ice at a hockey game. But Hungry Boy fashioned it to for our use, so it scrapes off the poopy culture and cleanses the earth of it. So here are my notes, folks. This episode was written by
Oh,
Frank Abetamarco, ripped from the pages of Oscar Wilde's A Picture of Dorian Gray. This is a bit of an odd choice for Star Trek. I love gothic horror, especially when mixed with science fiction. After all, our very first work of science fiction was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and this conceptualization of mechanization and electricity and what it could do. And by inventing electricity and turning the lights on in the dark, were we playing God? And so I love that. And then I wrote in my notes, I write in this exact genre. So in that Frankenstein picture of Dorian Gray universe, that's where I write. That's where I choose to write. I look up to Edgar Allan Poe. I've read everything by Edgar Allan Poe since I was very young, and I love it. I love science fiction in that gothic era. I love it. It's also why I love A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, even though everyone hates it. I love that feel. But I don't think that a picture of Dorian Gray is suitable for Star Trek. I also thought that it was absolutely cheesy BS to call the ship the Dorian. Like, how many of you out there who are educated who watch this
that
didn't you
was.
feel like didn't you feel like you were going to have a seizure? Your
Oh
eyes were
God.
rolling to the back of your head so much. It's just like, why did they call the ship the Dorian? This is this is a failure of book to TV show adaptation and interpretation. It is a complete and utter failure. And I wish I could growl and spit and actually yell, but I've had a migraine headache for more than 12 hours. Weird that Troy goes into heat. Why is she going into heat? Then she becomes a rude bitch. And then what's worse is that they signal Troy being in heat by giving her rat's nest bangs. So I put in my notes, rat's nest bangs equals horny Troy. And then I
Killing
put,
me.
I don't understand why she doesn't report anything, not even initially. She just keeps it all to herself. Then I put the Decker unit and Troy get on the Deck 8 turbo lift, but they were just in 10 forward. And everyone needs to know that 10 forward is on Deck 10. 10 forward is not on Deck 8. So, this guy, he took over for Jerry Taylor, but still nobody's doing their job. Um, Elcar is a straight up cold blooded serial killer. I don't understand the aging. It doesn't fit in here. Why would Troy age? This is unwanted emotions that he's purging. So they could not even disconnect themselves from
Yes,
Oscar Wilde
made
enough,
no sense.
yeah, to just leave it with emotions. I actually think that if they would have been courageous enough to write something for themselves and leave it at unwanted emotions and not do this rapid aging, rapid de-aging, maybe I would have given it a higher score, but it makes absolutely no sense. So you just ripped off Oscar Wilde but then crapped on him. And then I put there is no science in this fiction. The rapid de-aging and aging is ridiculous, and all of this is purloined from gothic horror. Gothic horror does not have a place in Star Trek. It just doesn't. It's not the Nautilus. It's
No.
not Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's not those things. This is not steampunk gothic science fiction. That's not what Star Trek is.
Well, were they trying to make her look like Miss Loaxana Troy with that outfit at the end there, like her mother?
Just yeah, and why? Why would they do that to Lawaksana?
Well, they're idiots.
Lawaksana is a beautiful, sexy, amazing, irreverent,
It just
powerful
seemed
woman.
that way to me. I'm not saying they did, but didn't it seem that way to you? Kind of like they were
Yeah,
making her
yeah,
mother like.
yeah.
It just sucks. Look, stop ripping off superior work if you can't even come close to it. Just leave it alone. You really suck at it, you idiots. It's just we got people in the chat. Some of our friends didn't even watch it. I love it. I never and Steve said he looked at some pictures of it. He can't remember it. Well,
Don't
lucky you.
remember it.
Lucky
Don't do
you.
that to yourself.
I don't know. I want Jill to watch it. Jill, you have to watch. I'm just kidding. Jill, you don't have to. Jill, you don't have to. I'm just
Yeah, and I
saying.
don't like that they made her look like Lawaksana because she
No, I knew
couldn't
you
hold
would.
a candle to Lawaksana, and I love that you said that, Clubby. I'm just processing what you're saying now.
I,
Um,
I
I
knew that you would not like that.
I don't like that because I think of her as a goddess, and I know that Chad agrees because we have a bunch of grown men who are intelligent and educated men, and the guys in our chat, yes, they think that girls that are 25 are gorgeous and cute, but they also think that women their own age are beautiful. And Majel Barrett, Magel Barrett, however you want to say it, whatever part of the world you're from, she's gorgeous and beautiful, and she's our queen, and she's the queen of Star Trek, and she has a rockin' body when she's a senior citizen, for crying out loud. The woman's gorgeous, and we love her, and no one should be making fun of her or demeaning her position in any way, shape, or form. And that woman, the thing in Heat, couldn't hold a candle to Loaxana Troy or Barrett.
Yeah. What about that scene where she tells this woman what a stupid loser she is when she's doing her
Yeah,
counselor job, and the woman doesn't go. She's known Deanna for a while.
yeah,
She didn't see anything like out of the ordinary with her acting like that. I
yeah.
mean, that's just well, Riker's the one finally realized because she's going crazy, or she's like messing around with this dude she meets
Well, and cat
in
scratch fever.
yeah
Counselor Cameltoe goes into full cat scratch fever and like
yeah
scratches his whole face and stuff. But this all just gets back to what Gene Roddenberry wanted. Gene Roddenberry did not see her as the ship's psychiatrist. That's not her job. Her job is actually supposed to be like basically a second or third in command, basically like the attaché of the XO and the captain. And she's supposed to be there aiding the bridge crew in and anything they might be worried about, things they might be considering. She's not telepathic. She's not Vulcan. She's just empathic. And so she's
yeah.
able to help them, sort of sort through their fears, sort through incredibly important decisions. And it's just,
Yeah, screw it. Let's dust this one off quick, gang, to get because it doesn't deserve any more attention. It really doesn't. So, number one, what is your ranking or rating or what have you of whatever the hell man of the whatever the people episode is?
I love this comment from JT Kirk. Look at this. Counselor Camel Toe and camels have humps. So want a hump. I just love
Yeah.
it. JT Kirk, I love you. Captain, I am going
Yes.
to report on this as an F. This is a full on F with prejudice. If I didn't have a migraine, I would like be almost cursing and doing multiple raspberries. This is absolute filth. And Hungry Boy needs to drive the claw bony all over this crap, this poopy diaper bomb. Ugh.
I got you, Jill. I was just teasing anyway. I wouldn't want you to watch that again. So she's seen it. She just doesn't remember it. Well, you probably blocked it out. I also give it an F as an F this episode. So everyone, let's do this quickly. You don't have to take too much. Let's so we can get on to better things. But give us your anything you have to say about it and your review. While you're doing that, and while number one is collecting your comments, let's consult our wonderful friend Max Redstone for his lyrics of Man of the People. Who's ready for that?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, while you're doing it, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Max Redstone's lyric for Man of the People. Here we go. Alcar and his mom, quite a pairing. His mommy gave everyone a glaring. He has so much aplomb, using Troy as an emotional condom,
Oh, that's
almost
great.
making her die as a Karen.
Oh my God, Max. That's so good. That's a
I think
wonderful cipher.
let's do that one again. I'll do it quickly this time, everyone. Ready? And one more time. Alcar and his mom, quite a pairing. His mommy gave everyone a glaring. He has so much aplomb, using Troy as an emotional condom, almost making her die as a Karen. What's that? Oh my goodness. Great stuff, Max. You rock, sir. All right, let's go here. Because let's go. Let's see. Captain James D. Skywalker says D or 4 to 5 raspberries. Get some double Lysol for the Glyboni. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you got it, James.
Raymond Feliciano says A plus. I love this episode. I don't care what anyone else says. This is the most magnificent, brilliant, thought-provoking episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation I've ever seen. It's in my top 2 or 3. I love it. I don't know what's wrong with you people. No, just kidding. He says F, just F. I tire of the let's use Troy trope. Move on.
Yes, 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 yes. I totally agree, Raymond.
Number one, would you do the honors for our great friend Enigmatic Drop Bear?
Certainly. Enigmatic drop bear, the erudite bear, dropping the mic all over the place in this space. All right, one of two. He's given this one an F. He says, note to writers, if you're going to knock off Oscar Wilde, at least try to do it competently. You can't get much more uninspired than using magic rocks to create a negative energy conduit. Ooh, you're getting
Oh yeah, the
vicious. I
magic rocks.
love it. I
Yep.
love it.
Yes, sir.
And two of two. The writers were trying for a moral tale using the ends justifies the means trope. However, it stupidly relied on fantastical elements and flawed characterizations to achieve it. Really nice. That's great.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Pleasant Valley, everybody. Hello there. It says F. I guess. I don't even remember this one, and forgettable is very rarely good. So I'll just go trust RM's review and give it an F for flushable.
F
Fair
for
enough.
flushable.
Well done.
F for flushable is going to stick. I love you, BC.
So to
Great one.
speak.
Great one.
So to speak. Absolutely. Mr. Tickle Trunk says, oops. Good to see you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. D minus, though my teenager self says A plus. Rewatching this it's a story about a serial killer who's barely even one-dimensional. Some positives: getting a peek into Klingon martial arts. Makbara.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Troy's dress, also barely one-dimensional, but my adult self is less impressed. That's about all of the positives. Did they pull ideas out of a hat and use the glue and two wishes to put them together? Still, it's just a filler ass drivel.
I love that person, Mr. Tickle
Well
Trunk.
done,
I
Mr.
absolutely adore that person. I love his mind. He is such a great person.
Indeedishness. Eric Carroll says D. I reserve any negative comments. At least Beverly's intellect was on display. Yeah, that's a good point. Wolfie says D. Rating D. D minus. Man of the Peephole. These solo Dina and the Camel Toe episodes are terrible at best. Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe there's been a good one that was all focused on her yet. I can't. I don't know if so. I'm not remembering it. So yes,
Beautiful
she,
wordplay, Wolfie. Beautiful
always,
wordplay. You know how
always.
much I love it. It's so cerebral, and I love
Wow,
your wordplay. Keep it coming, honey.
indeed. It's going to take like 8 passes with the Claboni to remove the pheromonal laced poop off the deck plates.
I'm quietly
Oh
clapping so I
dear.
don't explode my head.
JT Kirk says, D, I'm just tired with all of these stupid Troy episodes. They are. That's what I'm saying. They're almost always stupid garbage, aren't they?
Hmm.
Maybe always. I can't think of one I liked. If I did, I don't remember it right now. This one fails largely because the antagonist movements are poorly explained, even by P. Hard, dialogue dumping it into its use in the end.
And that
Yeah,
is true. JT Kirk, you are correct. Well, obviously, I'm going to agree with you. We agree on a lot of things. But yeah, the dialogue dump is not a cure all. It doesn't cure crap writing.
indeed. I I give it a higher grade than one might think because of the job the makeup artist did making Sirtis look conventionally aged at the time when CGI was not available. Still not sure why she aged. Yeah, but no, yeah, give them credit. I mean, those people do a lot of good work. The great LT Lord Boss says D minus, meh, forgotten already. I don't blame you. Mr. Angel says rating no, God no, just no, stop it, just no. Warming up the phasers, quantum torpedoes, and will use even my own teeth. God, this one sucked so hard. It sucks. It sucks so hard. It should get its own category. Just airlock it. Way to
Can we
go,
leave
chef.
that on the marquee all night? That's wonderful. Captain, may I please interrupt?
Please.
I just starred a comment from our chief of security, LT.
Mm-hmm.
He has to go. So he
Okay.
says, I am sorry, I need to run. And one of my absolute favorites is coming up. My apologies. A plus with laughing hysterical face and night, everyone. So Mr. LT and Mrs. LT have to depart for the evening.
Gotcha.
Everyone, please say your goodbyes now. And because he will no longer be here. And Larry just walked through the door, boss man.
Okay. Larry, welcome. And LT, great. Thanks for being here, buddy. Always great to see you, my friend. And I know we've talked a little bit about it, so I do know how you feel about that episode. That and so thank you for that. And if you wanted to send me some like on Twitter or something, your review of the other one, or if you don't care, no biggie either. Either way, you're welcome to private message me on them if you want. If you want me to put your reviews out there, but not a necessity, not a big deal. Thank you so much, LT and Mrs. LT. Both of you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
The nerdporeal life form just walked through the door and Larry
Hey,
just said, Hey, Clobby and Raquel, nerdporeal life form. Very nice to see you. Long time no see.
yes, good to see you, Nerdporeal Lifeform. Hope you're doing well, my friend. There we go. Mega Cropper says a C. Thank you, Mega. Appreciate that. Hungry Boy says, I put an extra petrol in the Claboni. I guess I don't even know if he has a review. I don't know if Hungry Boy. I think Hungry Boy. Did he watch it? Did
I
he
think
mention that?
that is the review. He put
Okay,
extra gas in the club
fair
only.
enough.
It's going to take some extra scrubbing.
Fair enough. Kal-El, the super one says, D. While I can appreciate this episode's attempt to shine a light on manipulative people and their methods, the story was simply too predictable. There was some satisfaction in how Pihard addressed the problem at hand and how the ambassador was ultimately defeated, though, which is why it didn't get an F. I got you. No problem. I like the way you're a very fair-minded individual, as the Superman is. So I understand you're trying to find something in there, and I would not dispute that at all. Killel, thank you so much. School of Pete says D minus. I found this episode very Troying. Oh, to watch. The sensual yoga scene, yeah. The counselor having very hands-on therapy sessions. Oh yeah, I forgot about the boorish plot, if you could call it a plot, brother. But yeah,
I
buddy.
mean, that is among the best reviews this evening. Scoop of Pete, I love it.
Yes,
And I
well
love
done.
the wordplay. Keep all those beautiful cerebral responses with those wonderfully playful puns. Keep them coming.
Well done, sir. Parrothead gives us 3 thumbs downs. And yes, indeed. Thank you, Parrothead. Absolutely. This episode should waste away again in Margaritaville. Um, Eric K, as the great Bronze Richard says, D minus, just a dirty diaper. Yes, sir.
Love
Ready for
the
that
air.
club, Boney. Ninat and Amanda Bear says F. I don't remember this one either, but it sounds terrible. We made it sound so bad that he gave it an F. That's pretty good.
Poor
Thank you,
Narod.
Ninat. Yeah, well, you're better off not remembering, and you're not alone. A lot of people are saying that, by the way,
Yeah,
Ninat.
it's true.
Sandra Feliciano says D. Not very memorable. Totally unrealistic that no one would notice the changes in Troy. Yeah, that was really stupid. Except for Riker, and only because she was, banging some dude. Just a dumb episode. Really dumb.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dumb, freaking nowhere crap. JT Kirk says emotional condoms do not protect against the spread of spapies. And of course,
Captain, I beg
yes.
your pardon. Please excuse me. But
Mm-hmm.
you have a wonderful gift coming from Cardinal Sin that I'm going to star. And our friend, the lovely Sherry, just walks through the door. Everyone, please say
Oh,
hello to the lovely Sherry. Hi, sweetheart.
Sherry. Love you, Sherry. Thank you for popping in. Always good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much. D. Bud Martin says F, man of the poople. I like that, man of the poople. That's very well done. That's D. Bud, dude, spectacular the way he did that with the emoji.
It's excellent. And the thing is that it's also true.
So true, so true. Michael Beacom says D minus minus. TNG 365 described the writers as gang banging it. Truer words were never spoken, but they sure did. They gang banged the audience too while I had it. With Kirk, the Dorian vampire would have eaten phaser fire. Yes, he'd
Yes.
have kicked his ass all over the place.
Everywhere. Captain, I have to interrupt again, and I'm
Go for
very
it.
sorry. But Sandra Feliciano, she has to depart. She says, "I'm falling
Oh,
asleep sitting here, everyone. I love the next episode. It gets an A+ from me." And then she says, "Good night, all." So everyone,
okay.
please know that Sandra is leaving the live chat, so she's not ignoring you, but she has to turn in for the
No
evening. So
problem.
good night,
Sandra,
Sandra.
yeah, Sandra, thank you so much, my dear. Great to see you as always. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We love Sandra. Love to Sandra Feliciano, our esteemed Helms person.
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Outsider says A plus 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 plus. This is the greatest episode of ever. Fight me. No, he doesn't. He says D. I thought they were thought they were going for the look of Dana from Ghostbusters, the rapid aging due to the flood of negative emotions, making the victim as the sub for the portrait. But this guy was a top negotiator
Yeah,
for years. The competence of Starfleet security strikes again. Looks
yeah,
like a successful negotiator is allowed to murder at will so long
yeah,
as they get results. The virtuous Starfleet.
yeah.
It was just so dumb. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
agree.
Steve mentioned does say A plus. I laughed, I cried. It became a part of me. A love story for the ages. I knew you were just an old
Keep
softie.
kidding.
I just think he likes to see he'd like to see that scene with Troy
He's
with the ensign guy in the elevator, right?
He's kidding. Steve Mitchum has some of the highest morals and ethics you're going to hear on the internet. He doesn't like that sort of thing. I'm sure he was actually disgusted. It was a morally reprehensible
If he if
episode.
if he even watched it, I don't know, he might
If
have
he
watched
even watched it, and that's just
it.
it.
Yeah. What if the guy that ensign that she was, that she meets in the in the elevator. I mean, most guys at that age, would have taken her up on it and stuff. But even that, he's got to know. I mean, she knows everybody on the ship, right? I mean, pretty much. She's the counselor.
Hmm. Yeah, she's
Okay.
yeah.
And I mean, even if I know he's lower deck type or whatever, but
Hmm.
still, even he would be like, um, should be made a little uncomfortable by it. Like, ma'am, I know the counselor. Is this not out of the ordinary? He's still a Starfleet officer. I'm not saying, look, any other dude like some frat boy or something, but this is supposed to be a Starfleet officer, and even he doesn't like. This is kind of unusual for these. I mean, I've never heard about I've never heard any rumors about Counselor Troy doing this kind of stuff. I mean, not on
Yeah,
the Enterprise.
Yeah, she's
We're not
not
on
the town
Riza.
bicycle or anything
Well,
like that.
we're not on
But
Riza. We're not on Riza though. You know.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But what? Speaking of dudes from the lower decks, I think if they would have encountered Lawaksana, I think that they would have probably thought hubba hubba. But it's Counselor Cameltoe, so it's kind of like
Right.
whoa,
But
whoa,
again, on Riza, I think you probably John. But you're on the ship, and this is someone like one of the main officers of the
yeah,
ship.
yep,
It would be similar to like even like if Riker was started like macking on some lower cadet or something like that, or one of the
yeah.
other ones, or Worf for one of them doing it, you'd still be like, that's a little uncomfortable. That's a senior officer. It's kind of weird. But anyway, that's just a um,
You expect it from the Decker unit. Like I'm amazed that the Decker unit it hasn't turned green and fallen
right.
off on him. But
You don't
you
really
don't
expect it from
expect
her.
it
Yeah.
from the ship's psychiatrist or that's what they turned her
No, because
into.
she
Even
deals
though,
with people, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So he probably would have at least thought something's wrong, but he didn't care. Anyway,
yeah.
anti-derivative Jill has something to say if you'd like to take care of that one.
Hello, my fellow nerd. Hello, my fellow INTJ. Thank you so much for submitting yet another what I know is going to be a brilliant review. So let's get to it, sweetheart. Jill's going to give this one an F. She said, I didn't rewatch it, but it sounds fairly unanimous among the great minds in this chat that I trust. Therefore, if I had watched, there is a 99.999998% chance that I would agree with that score.
She also says,
One of two, the Comic Relief Crusader. I still believe I will hate it because of the bad science and the characterizations that has been described, telling me why it's awful. Ooh, yes. And two of two, which is why I agree, not just because I like people whose opinion I value, which I do as well.
"Thank you, Jill." There's Thoth's final state said, "You need to run." Okay, yeah, I got you, Thoth. We miss you, buddy. The Comic Relief Crusader said, "I'm just joining the crowd and say F like the simp that I am." Look, that's on you, buddy. If you want to do it that way, it's whatever you want to say, but it's whatever, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Nerd Portal Live Forum, Milo says, I'm starting a Trek Portal stream tomorrow talking best Star Trek episodes. I stole your 735 name too. You stole it. I'm calling the cops. I'm calling the name police on you. I'm just kidding, but I'm going to put you in the agony booth though.
Yes.
Your
And if
agonizer, please.
yes, as long as if you quote me, all you have to do is call me out. In-text citation is important.
Yeah. And again, thank you, Nerd Portal. Good to see you stop by. And I've stopped by in your streams many times, and I've lurked when I see you on there. So, good luck, and thank you so much. Pleasant Valley Picker says it's episodes like that keep me from loving TNG.
I
Well,
thought
it's
you said
tough.
that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand big time.
A lot of
And
people feel that way.
yeah, it happens. I tell you what, Cardinal Sin, my friend, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. You're too kind, buddy. He said, loves me some Clobby and Raquel Saturday night Star Trek, but will never watch Picard or STD again. Don't blame you. STP unfortunately ruined TNG for me, but great to see
Oh,
everybody. Well, look, you're not alone there, Phil. I'm Gil. Phil. Phil's your brother, your long lost brother that you don't know about. Sorry, but seriously, Gil, brother. Um, you're not alone there. Many fine people have taken that position as well. It just ruined it for them. P Hard and stuff. So I can't blame you, my brother, and not at all. And that's probably a good decision on your part. Although it's a
mhm.
tough one too, because I know a lot of people really loved it. So there you go. And
I
thank you.
well, I my opinion on Poopy Stew was changed after Poopy Stew started giving lots of interviews, and then he got involved with the suck hard and all that stuff. So I don't partake in the filth. It's kind of like smearing crap all over yourself, and I'm just not into that. I'm not into finger painting in my own feces. So I'm going to pass on the filth, and I recommend you do too.
Yes, indeed. And Larry, thank you for that super chat. I'll tell you what. I'll save that as your review when we review the next episode. How about that? Because we've got Zathras.
He's here. Zathras, I have a migraine, but I'm going to do it anyways because I love you.
Be
Zathras
careful.
says, I love this episode, but then again, uh, Okay. All right. So
Boss.
here it is. So here it is, Zathras. Even though I have a migraine, you ready, baby?
Oh,
Crap!
Lord.
Crap! Crap!
Thank you for that. Thank you, buddy. Excuse me. Thank you, Larry. Larry, well, I'll tell you what. Since your super chat pertains to the next episode, I'll keep it in there as your review. And we
Yeah,
are we ready to move on to our next episode and get rid of this filth?
we are, boss. We are. And Larry, I totally agree.
Our next episode, folks, is Relics.
Sure is.
Thank
Relics is
you,
season
Relics.
6, episode 4. We all watched this for the first time on October 12th, 1992. I'm going to be reading excerpts from a book called Star Trek 365 The Next Generation. It's written by Paula M. Block. I certainly won't be reading all of it, just excerpts. So let's stay copyright compliant, shall we?
Yes.
Please turn your hymnal to page 273. I'm going to read from this text extemporaneously. Let's go. The Enterprise chances upon 3 historic finds in the same day: an immense artificial habitat known as a Dyson sphere, the wreckage of the Genolin, a Starfleet vessel that crashed on the sphere's surface 75 years ago, and the Genolen's captain, Montgomery Scott, still alive after spending 3/4 of a century suspended in the transporter system. Scotty was the chief engineer of Captain James Kirk's, it's hard not to say James T. Kirk, of James T. Kirk's Enterprise, and is considered a Starfleet legend. But it doesn't take long for him to get on LaForge's nerves as a younger engineer tries to do his job without input from the elder statesman. However, when the Enterprise falls prey to the same mistake that Genolin made years earlier, Scotty demonstrates that he's still a miracle worker. Emmy Award-winning director Alex Singer, whose credits include such classic shows as Mission Impossible, Hill Street Blues, Cagney and Lacey, approached Relics as an opportunity he'd missed out on during the run of the original series. I was across the lot for a few years doing Mission Impossible, like Star Trek, a Desilu production, and I wanted to work with Star Trek, recalls Singer. I met with Gene Roddenberry, and for one reason or another, it hadn't worked out. So the aspect of the Scotty character and his resurrection had a kind of multiple resonance. Having Jimmy Doohan there, I felt I was in the middle of some kind of mythic experience myself. With 31 years of series television under his belt, Singer possessed the unique perspective of having experienced the early days of television, while also anticipating future trends in the entertainment industry. At the time he was directing Relics, he was a member of the National Academy of Science Committee that was examining the convergence of computers and entertainment. Coincidentally, serving with him on the same committee was a computer expert, Esther Dyson, the daughter of the physicist Freeman Dyson, whose theories motivated TNG writers to create the Dyson sphere in Relics. Inspired by science fiction writers from the 1930s, Freeman Dyson had envisioned an artificial structure that could capture a star's entire energy output. Dyson introduced his thoughts into the treatise Search for Artificial Stellar Resources of Infrared Radiation, published in a 1960 edition of the Journal of Science. It postulated that acquiring the materials to build a sphere large enough to encompass a star at its center would require dismantling an entire planet the size of Jupiter. Impractical? Huge question mark. Probably. Possible? A huge question mark. Yes, at least in the fictional context, like The Next Generation. As soon as I saw the script, I knew I had something that would be terribly meaningful, both to the mythology of Star Trek and also peculiarity to me. I'm sorry, particularly to me. That should be. It should say particularly to me. I don't know why he's saying peculiar there. Anyways, also a tongue twister when you have a migraine. Singer said, each of Scotty's shocking encounters, synthetic commanders, and synthetic drinks had meaning. I had a deep sense of where Scotty was and where his sense of technical obsolescence was as he related to young Geordie. That story was very moving to me. And there is another uh, tile, there's another page, and another page after that. So two huge pages. I think I'm going to forgo them because we're a little bit running behind tonight.
Oh,
And
we're
I'll just,
okay with this one if you want. I mean,
okay, do you want
yeah,
to?
that last episode didn't matter. This is actually an important one. So
Okay, so we have, well,
if
then
you want to now, if you think they're
why
worth
don't I
it,
do both? Let me
go
do
for it.
both. Okay,
Go for it.
I'm just going to take a sip of tea.
Absolutely. No, I mean this one's worth it here. I think.
All right, I'm going to be reading from the block text, page 274.
Indeed.
Writer Ron Moore wanted to include a holodeck scene with Scotty walking onto the original Enterprise bridge, but budget estimates for building an entire set were deemed too expensive. However, production designer Richard James felt that if footage existed of the original bridge with no one on it, it could serve as a blue screen element, meaning he'd need to build only a portion of the set for live action. Well, this side of paradise, they could have used that. Um, yeah. Dan Curry located the perfect scene in the TOS episode, This Side of Paradise. Yeah. So, even so, building the pie shaped wedge with all the appropriate details seemed cost prohibitive until Michael Akuda contacted longtime Star Trek fan Steve Horsch, or Horch, who already built a perfect replica of the captain's chair along with Chekhov and Sulu's console for use at conventions. If not for Steve Horsch, or Horch, Okuda says, we would not have that scene. The much lauded authentic bridge set wasn't the only way the production team reached into the past. For the sequence aboard the Jenolan, where Scotty is rematerialized, we used the original Star Trek transporter Sparkle, says Curry. I used to work at the effects house Cinema Research, and I remembered that in the bowels of their stock footage storage room was an old box labeled Star Trek Transporter Sparkle, he says with a laugh. We blew the cobwebs off, dug through, pulled out the strip of film, and discovered it was in perfect condition. On the audio front, co-producer Wendy News and sound editor Bill Wistrom disinterred the sound effect for the original transporter from Paramount Vaults to enhance the visual. In the meantime, composer Jay Chataway added his own flourish. We decided it would be nice to open the holodeck and have Scotty react to the sound effects from the old Enterprise bridge, and then have to quote from Alexander Courage's old Star Trek fanfare theme, he says. I then paraphrased the theme into an emotional cue, with Scotty alone, many years out of his time element, experiencing the feeling that his comrades were no longer here. Scotty wasn't the only one touched by the emotion. I sat in the captain's chair and was moved to tears, Ronald B. Moore recalled. It was like I was touching a piece of my childhood. Bob Justman came down, and Majel Barrett came down. People who had some relationship with the original series kept materializing to see the bridge we had recreated. It was a very special episode. I remember that in 1992. I was very moved by it.
Hmm.
And now from the block text, page 275. When TNG's Rick Sternbach and Michael Okuda penned the series' writer's technical manual, we suggested all these bizarre things, recalls Okuda. One of them was the Dyson sphere. We never thought anyone would be audacious enough to create one on film until Ronald D. Moore's very audacious Relics. As soon as we got the script, we started to analyze the different shots, says visual effects supervisor David Stipes. We had to decide, what does this Dyson sphere look like? How big should it be? It was important for the audience to get a sense of the geography and of being inside a sphere, Dan Curry adds. We cheated the scale down a bit because if it were real with the dimensions described in the script, there would be no visible curvature. It was a bit of artistic license. At first, we talked about generating it with computers, Stipes recalls, but when we ran into some challenges, so we called in Greg Jen or Jine, master model maker Jine or Jen, built an 18-foot by 18-foot panel that contained a 6-foot by 6-foot portal. The master pattern is made out of sections of Japanese model kit, Jane Orjine said in a 1992 interview conducted in his workshop, where Dyson sphere parts hung on the walls and the sphere debris lay scattered on the floor. We cast them into a larger pattern and then made a rubber mold, he explained. Then we peeled it all off and started pouring giant urethane bricks. We put the bricks on wooden frames and put the frames together once we got to the set. Greg's model was huge, Stipe says, but we needed it to be 100 feet long to give us the required scale. So the crew shot a section of the panel and then digitally reproduced that section over and over in a cookie cutter fashion, making the thing look like it stretched for miles. The exterior was pretty straightforward because all the panels were the same except for the door, Jen Orjine says. We had more fun with the interior because we made it look like an industrial city block. We put our high school names on some of the buildings, like Dorsey High School, but the audience never saw that. We used a lot of pieces out of central casting. That's what we call our stock molds that have lots of details on them to break up the surface so that each panel wasn't exactly the same. I carved the main core around the door out of foam because we didn't have time to make molds, he said. It is sort of free form. And then the text obviously has all of these marvelous behind the scenes photographs of these wonderful craftspersons making these beautiful models and props instead of using CGI. And it is absolutely delightful. It is just beautiful to look at. I miss models and I miss creators and artisans making marvelous things. And that is all the
Absolutely.
box text has to say about relics. What did you think of the coverage? And what did you think of the episode, boss?
Well, before that, guess who's here?
Who?
Katie Carr. Good to see you, my
Oh,
dear.
hello,
Thank
beautiful.
thank you for stopping in. It is so wonderful to see you. Absolutely. Well, I I love the coverage, and I love the episode to the point where it is my number one all time favorite episode of the Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, wow,
Um,
that's
my
amazing.
my only complaint being it could should have been two parts, should have been longer.
Yeah.
Um, you know that in the novelization by Jan Michael Friedman has a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Has a whole bunch of other stuff in it. That they were planned for. I don't know if it had been planned from the script or whatever he got, including going down to the planet inside the Dyson sphere. More stuff on the Janolan with his friend with his crew member Franklin, the guy who was in the transporter with him. But be that as it may, we got what we got. I wanted more. There's no question about it. But I just love this episode. It is just, and again, I can't be objective about it either. Everyone, we get to see Scotty. We get to see, and a lot of people have said stuff like, "Yeah, well, they were mean to him." Yeah, you know, Jordy was mean to him. They also became very good friends. They had a bonding. There was some problems there. Jordy didn't realize, you know, Jordy, his character didn't know Scotty like we did as fans of the show. He just thought he was some old man. Yes, he's a legendary guy in Starfleet, but Jordy was being a little jerk off to him, and Picard showed some compassion. Now, I would have loved more. Like I said, it needed to be two parts. I'd love to see a scene where he was sitting down talking to Picard more, or and sitting at the. He had almost very little interaction with the rest of the crew. What there was of it was pretty good. The scene with him on the bridge when I first watched this episode and every other time after it. Oh, D-Bud has to go.
He does, and he's a very important part of this community.
He
And
is.
he's one of our main wrenches, I think, although I can't tell on this side. Anyways, he's an old friend. I've known him for over 2 years now, so I want to make sure that I
D-Bud,
say
thank you,
goodnight
buddy.
to him. He
Good
says,
night, bro.
I have to get up early tomorrow, and we're losing an hour tonight, so I must
Oh,
take my
yeah.
leave. Have a great night, everybody.
Good
And so,
night, man.
everyone, please say goodnight to the great D. Bud Martin, and just know that he is departing. So he's not ignoring you. He's just leaving the live chat and is
All right,
bidding you
buddy.
adieu. Au
Thank you
revoir.
for being here. Um, I when I first saw this episode, of course, and by the way, screw you, generations, for contradicting it, but it's neither here nor there right now. Um, when he goes to the holodeck, first of all, before that. Let's do it in order. The scene with Data, I'm already enjoying, and I'm getting to see Jimmy Doohan back on Star Trek. And back and he's alive, knowing he's alive in the 24th century. There's something satisfying about that. And the scene with Data, when we get the little nod back to by any other name, well, it is green reference. I'm already like right there. You're just grabbing my heart and pulling it out. And
Yeah.
then when you get to the holodeck, show me the bridge of my old ship. NCC
Yes.
1701. No
No
bloody
bloody.
A, B, D, or C.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a
I
great.
just love that line. This and when he walks into that holodeck on that bridge, and we're hearing that music. I don't even I can remember the way I was feeling then because I feel it every time I watch it. It just kills me in the best of ways. It's like I'm like the only experience in my life I ever had to come close is when I went to the set of Starship Farragut / Star Trek Continues in Kingsland, Georgia, and got to walk all over those sets. But before that, this was it. I mean, I was like, wow, it felt like going back to the set because it's an older Jimmy Doohan going back to that bridge, and that whole scene was beautiful. It was touching. It was beautifully acted. The conversation between him and Picard, just right there. I'm sold. I'm happy. And then you move on to the stuff between him and Geordi again because they've already had their little dust up, and it's just fun seeing him. I mean, he's just great. His presence, what a presence he has when he's playing Scotty, old or young.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I'm not capable of any kind of rational or you know logical thought when it comes to this episode. It just at this time when it was aired and then later, I'm saying yes. This is for the first time this show, in my opinion, has shown the proper respect to the original series, and I mean that unification didn't do enough of it for me. So this was the first time, and and Tribulations was the second time that, in
Hmm.
my opinion, this show was showing the proper respect to the original series, and I think that's meant a lot to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I was positively giddy in 1992. I was giddy because, of course, Jimmy is Canadian. He's a war hero. We love him very much. He was also one of the people from the original cast who was quite vocal about the fact that he wanted a transition period where they could, pass the baton or pass the torch, so to speak, to the next generation, to TNG, and he felt as though they had squandered that opportunity, and I agree with him.
Yep, yep. So notes, by the way.
I have notes. I'm not quite as glowing on this one. I think in like if you were to ask me in 1992 what I thought, I would probably do a cartwheel down the hallway and jump up and down like a lunatic and yell, "Oh my God, Jimmy's on, Jimmy's on!" But I don't feel that way now. But that's also over 40 years of loving Star Trek. So here are
Mm-hmm.
my notes.
Okay.
This episode takes place in 2369, and so that poses some problems that I'm not going to get into right now. Geordie calls Scotty Mr. Scott. Scotty is a captain and outranks Geordie LaForge. So Geordie LaForge has no business calling Captain Montgomery Scott Mr. Scott. James Jimmy Doohan is a brilliant actor. I miss TOS and I miss Jimmy. Jordy acts like a complete a-hole, like an absolute a-hole, and I'm yelling at the TV. And I wasn't all too happy about it in 1992 too. I was like, why is he acting like that? I don't like more turning Scotty into a toddler while Jordy yells "ta-ta" to everything he touches. And certainly Steve Mitchum can relate to that. It's sort of this ta-ta moment, like Daddy doesn't want you to touch that. Ta-ta, don't touch, don't touch. And sort of, more is sort of turning Scotty into this tyrannical toddler that must touch everything, and I don't like that. Um, the computer says 5 enterprises, but of course the computer isn't accounting for the Anaxa one. This is a problem with prequels. So
Okay.
yeah, it's prequels pose a unique problem, are uniquely problematic when you have a great reams and reams of continuity decisions to make and clean up. So, it is an issue. Obviously, it's not an issue in this time period. We weren't thinking of that in 1992, but in universe, that is a trivia a question that should be addressed. The NX-01 isn't there.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Ensign Rager at the helm is yet another example of Star Trek breaking barriers for women and girls. And this wonderful actress, she's in, I believe, 3 episodes in a row where she is like an excellent, expert pilot, helmsperson, and just very talented and just totally in charge. She corrects the guys, all 3 of the guys. She's brilliant, and so she is a part of the legacy of Trek doing this before anyone else, and not the stupid filth, the 735. And then I put in my notes, Geordi should consider Scotty as an icon of engineering. No, not doubt him or his postulations. He's sniffing at the bottom of Leah Brahms, and then just for some reason Scotty isn't a legend. I don't buy that part of it. I don't like it. But I mean, in 1992, I was just looking at the bridge. I was looking at the chair. I was looking at Scotty. I was looking at Jimmy, and that's all I cared about. But it's not 1992 anymore. So I'm a little bit cheesed that Scotty isn't a legend, because Scotty is a legend. Um, Scotty should be teaching at Starfleet, and Starfleet should have been notified immediately, and Scotty should have been in touch with all of his descendants. I didn't like the fact that he just goes off into the sunset all by himself. This is a very gregarious man who is a ladies' man. Lots of women really liked Scotty. He slept around a lot. He liked to have a drink and liked pretty women and was very romantic, very gallant man. Um, so I don't like that he just goes off in a shuttlecraft by himself. I think that's BS. And so my final comment is they wasted my Scotty. And so those are all my notes.
Well, where I would disagree is that I think you got to have some kind of conflict between the two. And a lot of people, engineering. I mean, yes, this is his engineering, meaning Geordie's. This big name comes in from the past that they didn't expect, and they acted like it's almost like you're pissing in my pool. There were rivalry. It kind of
Yeah.
it rubbed him the wrong way. I mean, Geordie's a human being. Geordie's gonna it hurt his ego a little bit that this legend's coming in there, and he
Mhm.
acted like a douchebag. No question about it. He
Yeah.
shouldn't have, but pretty quickly he felt badly about it. You can see it. Jordy's a nice guy.
Hmm.
Jordy, after he saw the reaction to Scotty and he pissed him off, Jordy looked like he genuinely felt bad about it. And Picard also, you know, could sense how Scotty was feeling.
Hmm.
And the both of them decided to, to help him out. And he and Jordy, when they really when they team up and he sees how great Scotty is. I mean, a lot of TV shows or movies start out where two people don't like each other or have issues with each other.
Hmm.
Sometimes because they're very alike, and then they form a bond and a friendship. So I didn't mind that. It worked for me. I don't like anyone talking like that to Scotty,
Hmm.
but you can't have any kind of drama at all if you don't have it. So I don't mind it. And
I I
and what was it?
agree. I agree. I think that creating that kind of dynamic is tolerable, but just for me, I find it intolerable because of how heavy he sniffs around the bottom of Leah Brahms, and it is sort of
Well,
like,
yeah.
he wants to be a part of her pack, and she's the alpha, and so he's going to, sniff her back legs and go in for it, as they say, and Leah Brahms, Leah Brahms, Leah Brahms. And meanwhile, I'm certain that Mr. Scott, that our Scotty wrote the book on engineering for Starfleet. So I don't like that they don't acknowledge that. But like I said, um, I'm not awestruck like I was in 1992. In 1992, I thought this episode was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I will say that I did not think about breaking this episode into 2 parts. I'm not a big fan of the two-parter, but I will tell you this. I think that you are correct there. I think this could have been an outstanding episode that aged beautifully if they would have done it in 2 parts. I think that that is a very, very salient point, Captain.
And well, that's what I've always felt about this episode. But because it's just not enough Scotty for me. But the thing with, we're talking about his relationship with a woman and his supposed relationship with another guy. That's always going to be different to me. So I don't have
Hmm.
much of a problem like that. Yes, he's a legend, but I guess if Kirk walked on the Picard's bridge, or someone walked on the Kirk's bridge, and it was a legend and still started kind of trying to fiddle around and meddle, that a captain of a bridge didn't want anyone told him. And so that's what I got, that it rubbed Geordi the wrong way.
Hmm.
But again, it became a catalyst for them to have a friendship, and that's I mean, you have no drama if you can't do that, so it doesn't bother me. And as for that stuff
True.
with the end, him going to Starfleet, that's why I'm talking about the two-parter here. What you're saying is we don't know what Scotty's going to do, so we don't
Yeah.
know that he's not going to go to Starfleet or do any of the things you said. They just don't tell you. They don't tell
Yeah.
you he's not. They just don't tell you that he is, and that's again because we have so little time. And if that's my only problem with the episode is there's so little time, it
Yeah.
needed to breathe. That Dyson sphere concept is so massive that you could have milked easily a great two-part story out of it.
Yes,
A great,
I definitely think so, and I think that you could have created more conflict, like the sense of jeopardy, and you could have pushed the story more toward whether or not Geordi and Scotty are going to survive. Is are LaForge and Scotty going to survive this rescue attempt? And we could have had the drama come from that rather than Jordy acting the way that he's acting. It just makes me just want to boot him in the rear end.
like I say, these people who are in command of something, in this case, engineering for him, they don't. There's an ego that goes with that that they don't like
True.
anybody questioning him or coming in there and pissing in their pool a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
just the way
that's true. Except
they
for
were
when
lucky
Wesley was
horns.
there, because Wesley had his hands on everything. Boss
Yep.
man, guess who
Yes.
just walked through the door?
Ooh. Hello there.
Mm.
Good to see you, my friend. So, what is number one? And I will ask my first officer her rating of relics, and then I will ask my wonderful friends in the chat their rating. So, number one, give us your rating of relics.
I give it a B plus.
Okie doke. And I give it an A plus 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 as my all-time sentimental favorite. But I will fully admit that I am not to be trusted because it's all coming from one place, my emotions and the heart.
Yep.
Although I think it's still, don't get me wrong, as an episode, it's highly entertaining from that level too, and it's a wonderful concept, the whole Dyson sphere thing, which again we needed more of. And but this is all pure heart to me. So it's not like this something extraordinary like when we would watch some of the ones that were the better ones we've talked about with brilliant ideas and all the Star Trek elements that we love compressed into one, like some of the episodes we've talked about.
Gotcha.
I can't think of one off. It's not that. This is pure Trek nostalgia to me. And since I'm not that big of a next gen guy, you got to understand, folks. I mean, we're watching it, we're reviewing it. I'm an original series guy, and it doesn't take much to make me happy. That's why Unification had so many problems. Even that fell a little short, and you had two damn episodes. This one only has one, and it gave me what I wanted because we got to see Scotty a little bit,
Mhm.
and so that's yeah.
In universe, yes, it feels pretty good because it feels like a warm hug. But out of the universe and in the real world, would have been nice if they just would have brought Scotty back a whole bunch of times and did what he
Yep,
asked.
they should
Because
have brought him back.
he was very vocal in several interviews, and I've watched them all the way through, where he was incredibly hopeful, earnest, just absolutely sincere, earnest in his speculation that they would slowly pass the torch. So when I look at the way that Jordy behaves, it irks me. It gets under my skin. It cheeses me off. I don't like it. And I do have to say before we get in the thick of it a little more here, I also did not like the fact that Poopy Stew, who to me is very weak, and whenever I look at the stuff he does, I just think, what would Kirk do? And it's the opposite of that. I mean, he has to have like a meeting just to go to the washroom. Like, okay, let's call a
Yeah,
meeting. I
I've
have to go potty.
I've always called him Captain Conference. So yeah,
Yeah, he has to hold a conference. He has to have a symposium about whether or not he's going to go pee pee. So that there's that, right? So why can he outdrink Scotty? I didn't like that too. It's like this is the new guard, And I'm very protective over the old guard because TOS is everything to me. And when Poopy Stew, when Pee Hard sucks back 2 full tumblers of the green stuff and acts like it's nothing, and Scotty raises his eyebrows, I also don't believe that because we know how much Scotty can drink. Like Scotty
Well,
can
if it
really
came
drink.
down to a contest, young Scotty would destroy him. He's old Scotty at this
Yeah.
point. But I
Yeah.
mean, Picard. Unless I don't like Picard that much these days, he did grow up on a in the wine business. But anyway, but yeah, now if you're talking young Scotty against young Picard, that age Picard, yeah, my money would be on Scotty there.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so my friends, the word is given. Please give your rating now. And while number one is collecting your scores, I will get our Max Redstone limerick. How about that, number one?
Yes, and I also really love what you just said because that's something I hadn't considered because I always consider him as someone who just drinks synthahol. But yeah, Kirk or Picard was raised on a crappy little vineyard that produces crappy little wine that you should never buy. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think about that. That's
Oh, I
actually a
love you.
really good point. I mean, not that I would ever drink that crap or endorse, Chateau Picard. It's actually
Cacao Picard.
SHITP hard. I would not
Shito.
drink that swill.
Love him,
You know what I
don't you?
mean? But point
who's
taken.
who's ready for?
I love you, Clubby. Clubby,
I
I love
love
you.
you. You're the best. All right, Max Redstone lyric. Who's ready? While you're doing that.
Yes, do it.
Okay, folks. The great Max Redstone has a limerick for relics. Here we go. See, try not to butcher it for Max, but I'm not very good at these. As you all seen. Here we go. Scotty comes. There's no need to fear, even if he drinks everything but the beer. On the booze he does gorge. Yet Scotty and LaForge save the Enterprise from the Dyson sphere.
Mmm,
Whoa! Thank
very
you.
nice.
Very nice. Nice work there. Wow, we got a bunch of them, huh?
Yes, everyone really like I love it when
All righty.
everyone gets passionate about episodes. It makes me so happy. And yes, the
Yes,
chat
they're
is
passionate about this
lit
one.
right now.
Nice. They are passionate, rightly so, about this one. So here we go. Our buddy Larry. Larry, thank you, Larry, for your $2 super chat. Says relics a plus. Scotty, best engineer, doing great. Not an argument coming from anywhere. I bet you on that one, buddy. Thank you so much. The great JT Kirk with a $2 super chat. Thank you, JT Kirk. Switch to
Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich,
Yeah,
12 neat,
Glenfiddich.
12 neat for this episode. Okay. Thank you, JT Kirk.
That is a
Glenfiddich.
decent drink and a not cheap. Having a bottle of Glenfiddich is just good form, isn't it, JT Kirk?
Glenfiddich. Indeed. I don't know anything about it, but cool. Cardinal Sin, thank you. Gil says, this is an A plus episode. It doesn't get any better than Relics. I'm with you on that one, my friend. Um, Mega Cropper gives it an A. Thank you, Mega Cropper. Appreciate you there. Zathras says, A. Scotty knows never to use that tool. Yeah, the old tool commercial. This is, Jordy never learned that. Jordy never learned that. Raquel gets the reference. You know those old
Love
tool
you,
commercials
Zachary.
that Duhan used to do? Yeah. Did you all get those there? The tool commercials for Duhan?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. The right tool for the right job. Uh, JT Kirk says, grade NCC 1701 A. No bloody B, C, D, or E. I love it, JT. Well done. A top tenner for me. Scotty's advice to Jordy about captains is just gold. Curses on STD for using member berries from this episode with Dyson Ring. Did they? Ugh, to hell with them. There you go. Wolfie. That's a big one. That's an Eshpick almost here.
He
There you go.
does.
Wolfie. I thought people might have a lot to say about this one.
Yeah,
We got time. We're good.
we do. We do.
Rating A, Dyson Sphere, a real astrophysics theory.
Yeah.
While I would be willing to bet that this idea for an episode goes against the Bible, it is executed to perfection. I don't know if it does or not. Maybe do you think it does?
Um, in what way, Wolfie? like
Yeah, if you
in
could elaborate.
as far as characterization goes.
No, I think he might mean the Dyson sphere. He's talking about the Dyson sphere.
You talking about the
Oh, I don't
Dyson
know.
going against Jean's Bible?
I wouldn't
Um,
think so. Or maybe he means character. I don't know, but characterization's fairly normal in this
mhm,
one.
mhm.
I mean, even if Jordy's acting like a dick, that's normal too. All right, here we go. I'm not sure what he's referring to. Maybe he'll let you know though.
Mhm.
I love the engineer ownership back and forth with Picard. I could tell how fast we were going by the feel of the deck plates. Yes. Kills me.
I love that. I love when he
Oh,
says that because for me, like, I'm sorry, but I know I'm upsetting people because people really love this episode.
you're
But
not
the thing
upsetting
is,
anybody.
he
No,
is the effing bomb to me. There's no better there. There's nobody is a better engineer than Scotty. I don't care how much forward the technology has moved. Get
no,
down
there's
and
no
lick
better one.
those boots. Anyone should lick the boots of Scotty, not Leah Brahms or Leia Brahms. Scotty is
Well,
Starfleet engineering is.
I think he would have been fanboying all over Scotty, but when he came into him and started telling him what to do and trying to, I don't know. I guess it rubbed him the wrong way. Professionals are that way sometimes, but it
And
was
that is
Wolfie, right?
true, isn't it?
It is Wolfie, right? That we had that last one because I already unstarred the other two.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Go
that was
ahead.
two. Sorry, I almost lost track of them. I need to not unstar something until I got the other one. Sorry. Man, sucks to be the species to get all the way to Kardashev civilization, type 2, and not even get to enjoy it. Um, sure. I'll see you. I'm not sure what that is in reference to, Wolfie. If you could help me out with that one. Um, USS Janolan, our first look at a Sydney class starship. I did not know it was called that. That's what I love.
Mm,
I love it when Wolfie and other friends give us the technical stuff.
yeah.
I do love me some kit bashes. This one is unique. The Janolan is one of the orbital space dock shuttles with TMP era engines. Wow, good to know, Wolf. Got one more from Wolfie. Hang on. Where is it? I know it's maybe he wrote it later. Wolfie, I'm trying to find it there, man.
I think I've started everything. I hope I have, and I certainly
Hey,
would miss
no, I
my
think you did.
Wolfie.
J25 is here. Did you see that? J25.
Oh, welcome J25. Good to see you. I'm
Let's
just
see.
looking for ratings
I'm
and
looking for his fifth one. Now
trying.
there.
Let me go back and look.
Let me go back to the top here. I'm looking for his number 5. That's
It
okay.
jumps sometimes, but
Oh yeah, sure. It jumps. You can't get them all.
oh, I've got him here, sweetheart.
Oh, you got 5? Okay, hang on. Let me find it.
No, that's 4 of 5. That's not 5 of 5. Hold on, I'll just unstar that.
That's
I
all right.
don't see 5 of 5 here.
I see another one by him, but it doesn't say whether it's 5 or not.
Go ahead and
So,
grab it.
Wolfie, I see one here that says he doesn't say what number it is, Wolfie, but he says Raquel. Yeah, I was thinking against Gene's Bible as it brings back TOS characters. I could be wrong. No, okay. That.
Actually, Sophie, it wouldn't be that they brought back TOS characters. That's been something that a lot of fans have attributed to Gene Roddenberry, and that wasn't what the sentiment that Gene Roddenberry was
Oh,
trying to create in his Bible. It's that he just didn't want people returning to redo things. And not only did they do it anyway, but they did it very poorly. However, I will tell you this that Gene understood, had an intimate understanding of the military, served in the military, and was a police officer. And I can definitely tell you that he would have taken issue with a Geordie LaForge calling a captain Mr. Scott. That
that
would
would
have
yeah.
elicited a whack.
That was
Uh,
probably a writer screw up, though. I mean, that's just
it
some
is
idiot.
writer's
Yeah.
strip, but
Yeah.
a whack to the shins. A whack to the shins is required here.
Because even Picard called him captain. Remember?
Hmm.
Well, Wolfie, if I have not seen your number 5, I'm so sorry. If you could
Eric
put that
can't
back
find
up
it
there.
either. Eric's looking for me because
Weird.
Eric is the great bronze wrencher, and
So
I love you, Eric.
so sorry about that, Wolfie. But if we can find it, man, I apologize to you. But if we can get that, we will.
He got
Um,
vaporized by the algorithm.
yeah,
I don't know.
I guess. Um, Mr. Angel says a I don't know what that symbol means. And 2, A squared, I mean, A infinity, and I don't
Oh no,
know.
that's an infinity symbol.
An
So
infinity? Okay,
yeah,
thought so.
so
Okay, thought so.
yeah.
All right. One of my all-time fave episodes to Scotty,
Oh yeah,
Slanty.
cheers in Irish. Love you, Mr.
Okay.
Angel.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. Uh, to all comrades we loved and lost. I get him so much. The episode actually made me shed a few tears, something I rarely can. Oh well, yeah,
Love Chef.
it got to me big time. I'll admit to you that I don't have any. My logic is uncertain where this episode is concerned. To
Hmm.
paraphrase Sarek from Trek 3. Let's see
Cardinal
here.
Sin says he cries at Star Trek all the time. So do I. All the time.
There you go. Pleasant Valley Picker says 104 here. A plus ad infinitum. While when I think of this episode, I have to demote Inner Light to second place. This was probably the most heartwarming episode of the entire series. I'm with you there. Let me find your next one. Pleasant Valley, Pleasant Valley, Pleasant. I know you're. Let's see. Hang on, Pleasant Valley. I'm going to have to go down a bit. There's number 2 for Pleasant Valley, and that is seeing Scotty again wasn't the only great thing, even though it was great. When they recreated the bridge on the holodeck, I may have wept back then.
Yep.
Still chokes me up thinking about it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
and that music and it was,
Imagine,
it was
like you have to imagine how excited we all were in
oh
1992 when that happened. It didn't even feel real, and we didn't have the technology to do to do all this CGI in the background, all this pretend stuff that doesn't actually exist in the background. We were all freaking out. We were so happy. We couldn't even believe what was transpiring.
It was, yeah, it really got to me bad, and it felt good, as well. The theme of becoming a relic. Yes, Scotty was starting to feel, well, and yeah, he was starting to feel that way, as many of us old people do.
Yep.
Is something I think we all face as we enter our later years, and this episode examined it in a serious way. Agreed.
Boss
Pleasant.
man, I beg your pardon. I'm
Yes.
just going to interrupt very, very briefly to say that our chief engineer, Mark D with a C, is here. Just walked in the room,
Hey,
waving hello to everyone,
hey,
and he's
buddy.
had some green stuff.
What now?
He's had some green stuff.
Oh, it's green. It's green. Well, good.
It's
Watch that
green.
green stuff, dude. Good to see you. Hope you're doing great. Let's see here. 4-4 for Pleasant Valley Picker. James Doohan was always my personal favorite Trek actor, as he was born in Vancouver,
Yeah.
which is only a 5-hour drive from here. His last performance as a Scotty was a beautiful, sweet swan song. Yeah, yeah, and we should have got more. Okay, let's see here. Chief engineer. I don't have a review from the chief engineer, but
No.
I do know that he loves this episode very much, and he gives it an A plus. I'm not speaking for him. He told me that. There we go. Mr. Tickle Trunk says A plus. How many themes can they squeeze into a single episode of Star Trek and make every one of them work? Lost friends, an old warhorse wanting to stay useful and relevant.
An
Good
old
point.
warhorse. Mr. Tickletrunk calling Jimmy Doohan an old warhorse.
In more ways than one.
As
Yeah.
Scotty, that is such a beautiful way of describing this, Mr. Tickletrunk.
Indeed, indeed. Theoretical and fantastical technology realized on screen, proper use of nostalgia to complement and supplement the story, different worlds colliding as well as trying to rebuild a life. Wow, again,
I
more
love this person.
excellent,
Yeah.
Mr. Tickle
A
Trunk. Let's
very
see.
intelligent, very kind person. I like this person a lot.
Yes, yes, indeed, indeedishness. Let's see here. Sure, there's flaws, but they're minuscule in my twinkling eyes. Scotty is the ultimate hero here, but so is his modern counterpart, Geordi. Great balance, pace, sound, costume, and props. Wah, brah.
No, that's chef kiss. So, mwah. So, in other words, the meal
Oops.
has been prepared to perfection. So, Mr. Tickletrunk, so well wrought. are so well spoken, and I just absolutely love this review. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Mr.
taking the
Tickler Trunk.
time to
Absolutely.
articulate your feelings in this way. I enjoy your company immensely.
Absolutely, isn't. Um, Raven Feliciano says absolute A plus. You can't go wrong with Scotty. I agree that it should have been a two-part episode. I agree that Jordy should be slapped for disrespect. Star Trek masterpiece. Yeah, he should be. But you got Scotty could have kicked his ass even at his age. Eric Carroll says, "Hey, Scotty, nothing more needs be said." And right on, Eric. I'm with you there, man. I'm an emotional wreck after this episode every time. Um, Captain James G. Skywalker says A plus. As this episode is concerned, there should be no trouble at all. No trouble at all. Just drink your drink, laddie. Don't you think you should rephrase that? Yeah, I'm sorry. I love that episode.
No tribble at all.
No trouble at all. Good to see
Yep.
you there. Thank you for that one, sir.
Oh,
Uh,
JD Lewis, I beg your pardon,
mhm.
Captain. Please excuse me. JD Lewis says, sorry, folks, due to daylight savings time, I'm headed to bed now. Good night,
uh,
friends. Everyone, please say good night to JD Lewis. JD Lewis,
Good night, JD
thank you so
Lewis.
much for supporting the show and for being here and being a part of this channel and this community.
Thank you, JD. Have a good night, my friend. You take care. Cal L says A plus plus plus. The Super One himself says this episode shows how to properly pass the torch from one generation to the next. The respect for Mr. Scott by not only Captain Picard but the rest of the crew was heartwarming. Let's see here. Although Geordi loses his patience with Scotty at one point, it was Picard's reminder that the most important thing in a person's life is to feel useful. It was
Mm-hmm.
also really great that Geordi. Let me find your next one there, buddy. Blah, blah, blah. Took those words to heart, which was evident when he told Scotty that just because something was old, you don't necessarily throw it out. Also loved the line from Data. Um, yes, I loved it. I loved it too. When he says, "It is, it is, it is green." It's so great. A great wink and a nod to TOS. Yep, by any other name, a great episode.
Yep.
Although one could nitpick that they shouldn't have been able to beam Geordi and Scotty through the Janolan shields. Well, they
True.
blew it up, but yeah, Janolan has weak shields, I guess. Besides, it's Scotty. He found a way, and
But
he's
they could
Scotty.
hold the door open yet.
Yeah, only Scotty could pull off the miracle weka thing.
I wish the tension came from that, and that's where the tension of the episode was instead of retiring my guy. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't know if he was retiring. He was thinking about it at that point, but maybe he said. Remember at the end, he said, I may end up at the Norpin Colony someday, but not yet." So remember he said
Mhm.
that. So there,
Mhm.
and I love that. I liked how they used him in the Kirk books. I know they're not canon or whatever, but they brought him back in the Kirk books and
Mhm.
the Shatner books. There was an immense amount of satisfaction derived from the fact that it was Scotty's ship that ultimately saved the Enterprise D. A
Mhm.
great way to introduce Scotty to a new generation.
Mhm.
Yes, indeedishness. Let's see here. Now we have our good friend Enigmatic Drop Bear. Would you like to do the honors, number one?
Yes, my pleasure. Let's do it. ED, what have you got for me? Are you going to drop the mic on this one? Oh my goodness, you have the same rating I have, and we are a rapid departure. So here we have an Esh pick. Enigmatic Drop Bear has gone full Esh sing. It's a six-parter. He's giving the episode a B plus. He says this episode was big on nostalgia and sentimentality. Using the fish out of water trope, it did a good job. Thanks to Duhan of exploring isolation, loneliness, and acceptance. Oh, Mr. Tickle Trunk has to leave. He says, good night, everyone. Early day tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of people have to leave early because of the daylight savings time. Mr.
Good night.
Tickle Trunk, I've enjoyed your company immensely. I know I've told you that, but thank you so much for showing up here and for all the things you add. You're just a terrific part of our community. Everyone, please say good night to Tickle Tickle.
Good night, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you so much, my friend.
2 of 6. Now for the criticisms. How does a ship transporting such a celebrated engineer, yes, go missing for 75 years? Yes. Didn't they lodge flight plans in the 23rd century? Yes. I love this review. 3 of 6. It is somewhat incredulous that a vessel, particularly a transport vessel that was experiencing problems, would not communicate its predicament with Starfleet. Yes, 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 yes. 4 of 6. How does something the size of a Dyson sphere that creates massive gravimetric interference confound sensors? It should stand out like a metaphorical sore thumb. Oh my goodness, ED, I think you might drop the mic on this one. 5 of 6. The USS Jenolan still has its shields up when Geordie and Scotty transported back to the Enterprise. This should not have been possible and required some sort of explanation. Yes, yes, yes. 6 of 6. Relic could have been seen as an unkind name for the episode. Yes, given that it is used as a pejorative. Enigmatic drop bear. I totally agree with
Okay.
you on this episode. I love, love, love this
See, I
Esh
totally
thing.
disagree with that. I think that, yeah, I mean, it's not a pejorative. It just means he felt like a relic because people do feel like relics sometimes. The Dyson sphere, the Xenolan, and Scotty, was kind of feeling like one. I don't think it was calling him one. In fact, it proved he wasn't a relic. He
Yes,
wasn't useless.
it's
However, I have an answer
difficult.
for I have an answer for what his first point. What was it about the about was it about the flight plan and not the him? First of
Mhm.
all, I can see Scotty just going on some small ship like that and not being that. I mean, celebrated. He doesn't want to be a celebrity. He doesn't care about that kind of stuff. Secondly, how can a planet, how can a planet called SETI Alpha 6 explode and nobody knows about it? It's called. They do that crap all the time in Star Trek, and
It's
they make
called
it.
they do that crap all the
Yes,
time.
they make it. It's called. They make their own rules for their whatever story they want to make in Star Trek, and it's also called that Enigmatic Drop Bear is actually absolutely 100% right. This episode is powered by nothing but nostalgia, and I'm fine with that.
It's true. I love that
Nothing
you
but
concede that. I love that is your concession and you're doing it intelligently, and that you can engage with the inconsistencies and show
oh,
that
I
they're
yeah
wide. But I do love enigmatic drop bear's nerve here to come forward and to say, yeah, because it is hard to rub up against nostalgia. It is a very powerful
right
thing that makes people very emotional and very
right
polarized, charged up. So, enigmatic
now
drop air, drop the
now
mic.
I can buy into beaming through the weak ass Janolan shields, though. So, I think Scotty and now again, you should explain things. I think it would have been behooved them to explain it, but Scotty could work up a way for them to beam through a small little section of the Janolan shields precisely at some point. He is a miracle worker after all. But yes, again, so nitpicks. Like I said, they don't even in episodes that I don't think that much of. Nitpicks don't bother me that much, but although I love acknowledging them and I love the way ED does that, but sometimes I'm like, if I really enjoy an episode, I love the Wrath of Khan. I have to forget that I have to put out of my mind that Kirk and Starfleet left people on a planet for 15 years without checking on them and didn't know a planet blew up. So
That
you know,
is true. He did treat that planet as though it were a jail. But
yeah,
it would have. I think
but I still love it.
yes, in 1992, this was an A+ episode for me. But now in 2022, I just wish that Scotty would have replaced Geordie. The end.
You used to like Jordy too. Oh, well, there you
I
go.
used to like him, but now,
People act like jerk offs to each other. You can't have stories sometimes if you don't do that. But
mm,
he loves Scotty now.
it's his real life behavior.
Well, in real life, yeah. Well, but Jordy's not that LeVar Burton because that would mean LeVar Burton is smart and Jordy's smart and LeVar's not.
Yes.
Um, Scuba Pete says A plus 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 plus. What's not to love about this gym? Never get drunk unless you're willing to pay for it, says Scotty. By the way, I heard that living inside a Dyson sphere sucked. And well, again, the book does explain what happened to everybody because there's a lot of people in there to just not be there. It needed to be. You shouldn't. That's my biggest criticism. Not just because I wanted more Scotty. If don't introduce something on the grand scale of a Dyson sphere, if you're not going to give us a, I mean, then you're going to forget about it. We never learn anything about it again. That's my biggest. To me, it's just forget the nostalgia for a second, and even forget things like shields and why this or why that. You left that to nothing. We don't know why there's no one in there. We don't know why they couldn't contact anyone, and it's so huge. How cool of an episode would it be to explore the Dyson Sphere more? But you don't go back to it. That kind of sloppy crap aggravates me, to be honest with you, more than
It
anything.
aggravates me too because this would have been their grand opportunity. I would also just like to doff my cap to Scuba Pete for the vacuum pun in that marquee response. I do love you, Scuba.
Larry says Scotty drank Klingons under the table in trouble with tribbles. Actually, just beat him up. But thank you. Eric K says B. I loved this back in the day just for Scotty. Now looking back, Geordi is a douche. Ken, you don't have an episode if he's not a douche. Scotty and Geordi are not playing in the same pool. Scotty invented and made this pool. He is
yes.
the gold standard. Look, I don't like anyone. I don't like the way he treated Scotty. I'm just saying you don't have an episode if there's no conflict between the two. I want to bitch slap him for the way he treated Scotty. But
I love you, Eric.
I love you, Eric. I love you, Eric, too. Oh, I'm sorry. That was her, not me. I don't love you at all, Eric. I'm kidding.
I love you,
Ron's
Eric.
right. Oh, okie dokie. Let's see here. Phantom out. She loves you for agreeing with her, Eric. See how very selfish of her.
I love him anyway.
I
especially love you now.
Oh my goodness. Well, did anyone say Geordi's not a douche though? Everyone knows he is.
He's a gigantic douche canoe.
But the guy, he thought this legend comes in and steps all over his engineering. I mean, I don't know how Kirk would react if some legend came onto his bridge and did that stuff. I don't know. Just saying. A counterpoint to saying, Scotty is the master of engineering. There is no substitute. Scotty obsolete, absurd. The lithium crystals, recrystallization, Scotty Spock, even the regs written by Scotty. That's one of four. Let me get to the other one. Phantom. Hang on. There we go. Always puts the number like at the end. You notice that?
Yes.
Scotty,
they're hard to track down.
It's hard to track down when you put the number at the end of what you write there, Phantom. Scotty should have contacted Starfleet and sent Georgie to clean the warp manifolds. Give Scotty a tricorder in 5 minutes with Data. Data could have a whole family. No thanks from Guinan for Scotty.
I love you, Phantom.
Damn, dude.
This is a good review.
Helping to save. We gave it an A though, so it can't be too good a review, right? Helping to save her and her people. Now, how ungrateful. Yes, I know this movie is after Scotty and Data. Scotty used its green on the Andromedan who was adjusting to human emotions, getting this. Yeah, that's from By Any Other Name.
Yes, By Any Other Name. Yeah.
Right. Does he got one more? Let's see, got one more. Hang on there.
Boss man.
Yes.
I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Chef has to depart. He says it's daybreak and I've got to go. Exercise time.
Okay.
My girlfriend is going to torture me with cardiac training. Wish me luck. May the force be with me. See you all next week. Chef, Mr. Angel, good night.
Chef, get revenge on her. Make her watch Man of the People.
And cardiac training is important. Go and work out and treat your body like a machine. Get out there and respect your body and have a great time with your lovely girlfriend. And we will see you next week, my wonderful friend. Everyone, please say goodnight to the ships, Chef.
That's just a rumor. Cardiac's nothing. Just kidding. Data, who himself is exploring human emotions. Scotty, just by looking at the crystals, could tell they were going to crack. I'd be willing to bet that visor was probably Scotty Tech. Take that, Geordi.
Oh,
Scotty.
yeah.
Scotty Tech.
See, it's okay with me that Phantom gave an A because of his snarky comments, because I love those snarky comments. I share those sentiments. So, yes. Guess who's here? One of my favorite people, and I love interpreting his rating system. For those who don't understand it, Ace Cast Iron is in the house.
I'm going to think you should change your rating to a D.
Oh, he's
Okay.
got a rating. He's got
I'm beginning to think you should uh, change your rating to a D. Good to see you there, bro. By the way. Okay, let's see here. Michael Beacom says, A, things to love, Dyson Sphere, Scotty's return, Enterprise Bridge, things not to love. Scotty versus Geordi. Geordi should bow with respect.
a
Did
yes.
you ever defeat a doomsday machine?
Yes.
Did he? No. Let's see here. Scotty abandoned Scotty abandoned magic transporters. Magic?
Again.
Again? I don't know. Scotty rigged that sucker up. If you're talking about at the beginning, or you're talking about him beaming the shield thing doesn't really I'm not so big. I'm not so sure you guys are right about that. I mean, you could punch holes in shields and different stuff. It was a weak ass Janolan, older shields. I don't know. Scotty could figure something out. He's Scotty. They got back to that ship and they saved the Enterprise from the Dyson Sphere because of Scotty being a miracle worker. Jordy didn't do jack. Mixed about this. It was a nod to to their origins, but also seemed less a passing of the torch and more a visit to the old folks' home.
Oh, yes. Well, it's slightly disrespectful, and I totally agree. I'm going to interrupt for just two wags of a dog's tail or two triple purrs. Raymond Feliciano has to depart for the evening.
All
Folks,
right, Raymond.
please say goodnight to Raymond and please follow him. He has a wonderful channel, King Dolphin TV. Good night, Felicianos.
All right, Raymond. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, TNG lauding their position as real Trek, insecure with the start of DS9 and Voyager on the horizon. I don't know. You end up with a question. I don't know. JT Kirk says Chateau P hard. Okay.
I love that.
I'm sorry. Michael had a
More
fourth one.
snark. It's the snark I love.
He had a fourth one. I didn't realize that. The Dyson Sphere. So they find one and nobody ever mentions it again. That aggravates me too as well, Michael. Does
Yes.
Starfleet have a bunch of those just laying around and Scotty just leaves?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I wanted to, like I keep saying, I wanted a two-parter minimum.
Yep.
I gave it an A. Says Narada Maxamandabear says A. It could have been better, but it's a classic episode in my book. Thank you,
Yeah.
Narad. J25 says B. Happy to see Scotty, but I don't like seeing him as an outsider. The ending doesn't help that. I just don't like the shuttle ending.
I
Yeah.
want to say here, J25, for all of my education and specialization in this topic, you just blew my doors off there because you just said it so succinctly, so simply, and so beautifully. That that exactly describes how I feel, and you said it way better than I ever could. I
Well,
did not like seeing Scotty as an outsider. What a profoundly perfect statement about
but then,
this episode. J25, great
mm,
comment. Love, love, loved that comment.
but then you can't have the episode because he's brought back 75 years later when he's the only one in the crew that we know of.
Yes, but
So
it's the fact
I
that
don't like that either. But
yeah, some of us just love him so much we don't want him to be the social or the emotional outsider. It plays with our emotions in a negative way. J25, that is a great way of
I don't know
describing
how
what
you,
we're trying to massage out of this episode.
in a two-parter, you probably could have taken care of that. But
Yes,
by the end, he did save them all, and he got to know them. Remember, they only
yep,
know him from history books.
true, true,
They don't
true.
know him. He's a person. You read about him, but it's like you read about Abraham Lincoln, but you don't know him.
Yep,
So, but then they got to meet him, got to know him, and then he was humanized to them. Of course, you're an outsider when you're the new person, and he's new
it's
there.
true.
So, that didn't really occur to me, but I don't like the way it ended with the shuttle thing. I'm with you there. I don't like the shuttle ending much because,
Yeah,
again, it's broken record. You needed so much more. It had to be a two-parter. Them just letting him use a shuttle and go off into nowhere just shows how horribly inconsistent and stupidly this show was run from get-go. I mean, the Next Generation in all 7 seasons. With one time they'll give you something really great, and the next they'll turn right around and make a stupid-ass decision. This show is the most inconsistent thing I've ever seen that lasted 7 years.
hmm Larry
And
Larry just pipes up and says, Kirk knows Lincoln.
What's with that? Of course.
Oh,
No, he doesn't.
Larry
He knows
was
the Excalibur.
asking about the Writer's Bible, and yes, Larry, I am a big fan of Gene Roddenberry, so I oft bring up the Writer's Bible and produce it on a regular basis to confront the inconsistencies with the rumors and just basic bad mouthing and dumbness of the filth. And so it's a regular part of our programming. I like to produce Gene Roddenberry's works to get rid of lies, rumors, and verbal diarrhea. So there it is. Oh, Apollonie's minion is
Hey,
here with her truck dog,
Ptolemy.
the
Oh,
pupperoni.
good to see you, Ptolemy. I hope you're doing well. Um, let's see here. Katie Carr says proof you can bring back original characters and keep them true to form and give them a proper, dignified send off. Some don't think it was
Mhm.
that dignified. I don't know about the send off part, but it was great to see him come back. A dignified return. I'm absolutely with you there. It looks like we have multiple reviews from Jill. So if you'd like to take it away, number one, are you ready?
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Our wonderful communications officer Jill has this to say about relics, folks. Go for it. Number one.
Well, it's a full-on Esh pick. It is from the Esh Singh
We love an aspect.
book of writing, subparter. Jill is giving this an A plus plus plus. She says absolutely beautiful. I laughed several times and told myself I wouldn't cry this time when Scotty walks off the bridge, but I lost when he toasted his old friends. I think she means I lost it when he toasted his old friends. 2 of 7. The Genolan stuck on the Dyson sphere was a wonderful idea, allowing for grounded science since they make it big enough so the habitable area is far enough away from the star. Geordie was so impressed with how Scotty kept his pattern together and the power running from the transporter. But I like when Scotty counters that it was only 50% brilliant because of Franklin. Yeah, he would never leave a man behind. He notes great Trek history like The Wolf of the Fold, but the crew doesn't seem as interested. Interested I am. I think she means as I am. I could have had an episode of Scotty telling stories and maybe some animated deleted scenes.
Refresh me on that one, Jill. I remember the Alana of Troyes reference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember the Wolf in the Fold reference, but I'm probably just forgetting it at the moment. So, Jill, just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry.
5 of 7. Duan is incredible at portraying feeling out of time and place. At first, Geordie spurns his good advice, so it's a wonderful turnaround when they really work together to save the Enterprise. 6. Geordie's failure is he was focused on getting a job done too quickly and was so one track minded that he didn't recognize the brilliant mind that was trying to impart wisdom onto him. Great flying ensign Rager. I agree it was strange he left alone. I like your idea of making him an engineering professor.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And who knows? We'll never know, will we? We'll never know. She had a couple more. We want to take these out too.
Sure. Great point. I figured it tried to communicate but just couldn't, like all other systems were going down at Enigmatic Drop Bear. 2 of 2. But you're right. They should have addressed that stuff. Guess I filled in a lot of stuff out of love. That's the
Me
point,
too.
though, isn't it? Isn't
Me
that
too,
isn't
Jill.
that lovely? The way that everyone loves the episode, but we're sort of messing around with the grade because some of the cleanup isn't all that great, and we want to love the episode. And I love these exchanges, everyone. Keep those honest comments coming.
Our wonderful friend Katie. Good to see you, Katie. We're so pleased to see you here, my dear. Says A in my book. A in my book. Great bringing back Scotty and gave a lovely send off to his character. Newer writers need to look at what TNG did with bringing back Scotty and show that they can keep characters whole. I agree with you. We know they could, but they're probably not capable of it. Wolfie, thank you for the. Oh my goodness, sir! Thank you for the
Very
$20 super chat.
generous.
You are too kind. That is very generous of you, my friend. I don't know what to say, but I do know to read your super chat. Thank you, sir. It says There have been five Federation ships. There have been five Federation ships with that name. Potential exploration NX-01. She was launched by Starfleet 2151,
And
Enterprise, Quark, and
Robo.
Bow. The Federation was formed in 2161, TNG, The Outcast. Love you guys. Love you too,
Yep.
Wolfie. Thank you so much. I love when you got the ship info. That's so cool.
Yep. I love
Um,
it too, Wolfie. And thank you so much for supporting this channel and this show. Love, love, love you. Thank you.
my wonderful friend Ace Castarn, a superhero to me. Good to see you there, bro. I love his ship ratings. He gives it a 1701A. And of course, adds a favorite line he and I have quoted so much that I mentioned earlier. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
So his grade is only slightly higher than mine
Love
and
you,
might
bro.
actually be in and around the same grade I have.
You give it an A. I don't know. Maybe he just left the plus off because I know he loves the episode.
No, because 1701 is his top review. 1701A is his second review, and then B, C, and D.
No, he said no bloody A, C, A, no
Oh,
bloody
he
A.
said, he followed up by saying no bloody A. Okay,
Yeah,
well then
no bloody
he gives it
A,
top.
B,
That's a
C,
top
or
mark
D.
from Ace.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, indeed, sir. Let me go. Hungry Boy, however, says, don't encourage my inner snark beast, Raquel. I don't think we've seen his. Has he done a review yet? I don't think so.
No, but I was complimenting everyone for their snark.
Let's see. Would have loved a two-parter, Seth. Yeah, I'm with you there. Ba, ba,
You're
ba,
getting a lot
ba.
of support for that, Clubby, not just from me, but from a lot of people in the chat. I think we could have resolved all of the issues with the two-parter.
Well, I was talking to Claude today, and he'd read the book by J. Michael Friedman, who was a pretty good Star Trek book novel writer. And he back. I remember he read. I think I may have read that when it came out. I don't remember. I may have. I know but he was talking about all these things that happened in the book. And goes, yeah, that would have been great if
Hmm.
they'd handled that stuff. And then, so if you
Yeah,
ever anyone out here who loves this episode, if you want to go grab that book, you might enjoy it.
yeah.
Um, Pleasant Valley also says, sorry, RM. As much as I respect your opinion and agree on points you make, I still love the episode. So, oh yeah,
I
she
had to
understands that.
highlight that because I think that's such a wonderful
Oh
thing
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
say. And I definitely don't want you to just agree with me. Your feelings matter and your thoughts matter, not just mine. So and I love the exchanges and I like thinking about it and talking about it.
Hungry Boy says, how can the heart of the Enterprise be rendered like tallow into an outsider? It makes no emotional sense.
Hmm.
How can the heart? I'm not sure I understand that one. I got to admit. Of course, I'm not exactly sure on that one. Our great friend Mark D with the C says, "Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. Drank too much green stuff. That's all right, duder. Good to see you. I hope you're having a great time. Um, let's see here. First I'll read his review, but first we got Dadman says I've got to shut my eyes and get some rest. I think mine may have been missed, but I didn't see it. Oh well. I give it an A, and it may not have looked like a review. My writing hasn't been the best tonight.
Oh,
See you next time. Take care, Dad, man.
we
We
love
really
you, Dad,
appreciate you,
man,
man.
and we're sending our love to your whole family. Please tell everyone that I said hello.
Well, here's tonight's most shocking review for me. Mark D with a C says F minus, in fact, F minus minus minus. One of the worst episodes ever made. I hate this episode so much. I I have erased it from all human existence. I'm working on a plan to make sure that I take it out of the human memory because it's so unbelievably horribly bad. Oh, maybe not. Of course, Mark D with a C loves it. A plus plus plus. One of my all time favorite episodes. It hits us with nostalgia, but the B story is an A with the great idea of the Dyson sphere. By the way, didn't LT give us one earlier? He said he gave it an A. LT gave it a A plus. Everyone, by the way, too. I didn't. He didn't.
I think so. I think so. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if he sent me any kind of messages on it, but that's okay. If he did, I'll check just in case. But maybe he didn't. All right. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't get much better than the recreation of the Enterprise bridge in green stuff. Scotty is not a relic. He once again saves of the day because he is the Medica and data. Um, I liked that when he leaves, at least then he leaves. At least he decides to make that maybe it's not the time to head to a retirement home. Would have loved another adventure with him, but that was a great send off. Yeah, it was so incomplete though, man. It just really
Everyone keeps saying
that's
it was
the
a great send off, and that just makes me want to
that I don't agree with.
head desk. I think it's a
That I
terrible
don't
send
agree
off.
with. Even I, who love the episode, don't agree with it being a send off.
And
But
this is our lovely communications officer tracking down Dadman's reply that was missed, probably when I was reading the
oh,
Esh pick. So here
oh,
she
okay,
has posted it for us and for Dadman.
okay, oh,
So
okay.
thank you, Jill.
She says, "You want to take it, or
Well,
I'll
this
take
is
it."
Dadman.
Good.
So
Mhm.
Dadman says, A, nothing wrong with nostalgia that is respectful to the past, well written and acted, believable that the old guy could get on on the youngster's nerves. But in the end, respect was earned and problem solved. A great, great review. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dadman.
and thank you for that, Jill. So, are we ready to move on to our final episode of the
We are, we
evening?
are, we are,
All
we
right,
are.
here we go.
Dun,
That was
dun, dun, dun.
fun. And now, everyone, this one, and just while you're doing that one, number one, I got to go turn the heater on in this place. So I
You
will be
cold,
right back.
honey?
You have the con, and you can go ahead and start your review.
You got it,
Because
babe. I'll do
I
it.
have to go because apparently it's not on. So, all right.
Okay, folks, let's dig in while the boss is gone. Schisms is next up. This is season 6, episode 5. We all watched this for the first time on October 19th, 1992. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation, written by Paula M. Block. She gets a bit of help from her husband, Terry J. Erdman, who is an author in his own right. And of course, it receives the blessing of all involved with TNG and contains many interviews with the original source material, which is why I chose it. So, once again, page 276, I will be reading extemporaneously. Let's get to it. Geordi's experiment with channeling warp energy through the main deflector grid seems to be working perfectly until an explosion occurs in the cargo bay. While the damage appears to be minimal, it's just the first part of a series of inexplicable events that take place over the next few days. Although they have no memory of it, crew members including Riker, LaForge, Worf, and Data disappear from the ship at different times. After they've returned to the Enterprise, the hijacked officers are changed in minute ways. Some of the victims of exhaustion, others suffering from mysterious pains, and worse. Stranger still, there's an unusual level of tetryon particles in the cargo bay, which seem to be causing a rupture between their universe and something else's universe. Dot dot dot. My sensibilities have always been offbeat, weird, and macabre, Brandon Braga acknowledges. And in my episodes of Next Gen, I was, thankfully, allowed to explore some of these things. And some of them were kind of wacky, but they're really always interesting. The writers each had their own skills and interests. Ron Moore excelled at the political type shows with Klingons. Renee Echevarria, I think is how you say it, usually did the really emotional episodes. Mine were more conceptually driven, interesting conceptually, but not necessarily heavy on anything profound. Oh, Nick, hi. I'm reading. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to star your wonderful gift for Clobby. Nick Weiser is here, everyone. Just love, love, love Nick. Please follow 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. He is such a great person. He does food reviews. He does like live sort of FM radio type shows with panels. He's just a very kind and wonderful person. So follow Nick Weiser. And as soon as the captain gets back, he will read off your super chat, Nick.
Oh, Nick, you shouldn't have, buddy. What's up?
Hey, you're back.
Hey, sorry about that. I had to go turn the heater on.
Have a
Nick,
gift from
thank
our
you so
friend
much.
Nick.
There's a super drunk super chat. We love you back, brother. Thank you so much. You were too kind, my friend.
Yep, and our love to your family, to the girls.
Thank you,
Please
buddy.
tell them that I said
Hope
hello.
you're
And to your lady, Yasas.
yes. Hope you're being safe, buddy. And thank you so much.
Okay, so picking up where I left off, Schisms was just a garden variety UFO abduction episode. It certainly is. That's in my notes as well.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of them around at the time. That's not true. The X Files hadn't come out yet. That's true. So it seemed fresh. It wasn't a particularly original idea, but it was
Yeah.
creepy and well executed. And then it says opposite. The masks used for the creepy unnamed alien species. Viewers never found out where they came from, but judging by their appearance, the creature from the Black Lagoon may be in their lineage. And now from page 277. And I have a horrendous migraine, but I'm going to read this. So if I make mistakes, please excuse me. I'm
Is it
suffering
real?
quite badly from it.
Is it real? If it's that bad, we could cut this short. You know.
No, honey, don't worry about it. Felis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, an endothermic quadruped carnivorous by nature. Your visual, olfactory, and auditory senses contribute to your hunting skills and natural defenses. I find myself intrigued by your subvocal oscillations, a singular development of cat communication that obviates your basic hedonistic predilection for a rhythmic stroking of your fur to demonstrate affection. A tail is quite essential for your acrobatic talents. You would not be so agile if you lacked its counterbalance. And when not being utilized to aid in locomotion, it often serves to illustrate the state of your emotions. Oh, spot the complex levels of behavior you display. Connotes a fairly well developed cognitive array. And though you are not sentient, Spot, and do not comprehend, I none the less consider you a true and valued friend. And that, of course, is the ode to Spot with lovely pictures of the pussycat. Um, it says opposite far right spot as painted by Data, actually TNG scenic artist Wendy Drapanis, in the style of Picasso. The portrait appeared in the seventh season episode Inheritance and in the film Star Trek Generations. So there is a lovely orange pussycat on the page here, and it's just absolutely lovely. What a beautiful kitty cat! And that is all the block text has to say about schisms. What did you think of the coverage, Boss Man? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, interesting coverage than putting the Data's silly poem in there. Um, look, for once, at least Brandon Bragg isn't turning people into monsters.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. I don't really have it. I'll give him some points for it being a fairly interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
They're because let's say it's pretty interesting the fact that they're this extremely advanced starship, and yet they're getting treated just like Earth's humans on Earth from by aliens who all those stories we hear about alien pro stories on Earth of
Mm-hmm.
alien abduction stories, and yet they're it happening in the 24th century and then finding a pretty plausible way to do that. I'll give them some credit. It was creepy. It's just not an episode that does a whole lot for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the scene when they're recreating the thing a little bit from their from their dreams in the holodeck, while interesting, is like I don't know, you guys. It's not really particularly well explained, if you see what I'm saying. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really lay out. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it doesn't really explain satisfactorily how they're able to all piece this thing together. So on balance, I just find it to be kind of a not particularly again an interesting idea with not great execution. Just me. I know some people like it. I don't, and I don't mind them doing a creepy episode once in a while. I personally didn't care much for it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite episode either. And as a massive fan of a pedigreed Siamese cats, I totally agree. Hungry Boy and our marvelous friend
Thank
Nick
you,
has set,
thank you,
sent
Nick.
yet another gift for
Thank you,
you.
Nicholas. You're
What
too
a
kind, buddy.
what a sweet gentleman. He's just such a great friend to one and all, and just such a fun and wonderful person to be around. Thank you, Nick.
And I like Mark D said there, follow up's the key. And again, this is probably me being like being silly, but they just basically all they did was get away at the
Hmm.
end, and there's no real resolution. I'm not saying
And
everything
in
has to be a
our
new.
realm, and in our realm. So what
Yeah,
what what happens after that? There's no follow up. And
Right.
so, how are they existing in our realm? How are they able to stay in our realm? I mean, they just take off like a dot of light. And he really likes this whole like dot of light thing.
Who, Braga?
Hmm.
He
I
does.
think
Yeah.
it's Braga who likes the dot of light thing. Oh, it's also that Echevarria, Rene Echevarria guy. That guy also likes the dot. Here's the dot. Everybody run. The
Yeah.
dot's here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's thank you again, Nick. I appreciate you, buddy. Hope you're safe and well because I know you've been out having fun tonight. So be careful. Um, yeah, Riker being tortured part two says Katie. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so. On balance, and again, go ahead with your notes because I didn't find it to be. I found it to be an interesting idea and concept. I don't think it was. I think you could have done it a little bit better, sure. Um, so yeah, I don't have strong feelings toward it. I thought it was just sort of again, I think I like the idea most of all in terms of again them being this extraordinary, like for this big, they're 400 years out in space now. They're pretty advanced, and yet they can still run across something like this. Pretty creepy idea, pretty cool, but how it was handled, maybe in no good resolution.
Some
Maybe it would
pretty
be,
delicate instruments for the creature from the Black Lagoon.
yeah.
Do you know what I
So
mean? That
yes,
I always find that very troublesome. If you have these gigantosaur mitts and no digits, no opposable thumbs, and yet you have these little teeny tiny buttons. And Larry, we don't call him Riker here. We call him the Decker unit.
a Decker unit. Katie says that Braga is her favorite writer, and he made Voyager what it was. That's just maybe Katie, but I a lot of the times I've seen he's done. I think he's done on all the shows he's written for, which I guess would be TNG, Voyager, and Enterprise, right?
Hmm.
And he's got this weird penchant for. I don't mind the weird stuff, but he's kind of the strange penchant for changing people and putting into monsters and crap. He's obsessed,
Hmm.
which it's just kind of always thought a little weird. But yes, you see, not that he hasn't done good stuff.
Hmm.
Anyway, um, so notes.
My notes are Data's poems are hysterical. I love them. I'm annoyed by LeVar Burton openly resenting and complaining about playing someone who is visually impaired and getting a total pass from social media hounds and Hollywood media.
Yeah.
This episode is really about exploring the 1990s fascination with alien abduction stories. It's a zeitgeist, the spirit of the age of sci fi at this time. Rag newspapers, later in the X Files, Roswell, the alien abduction shows on cable, etc. In
Yep.
2021, Screen Rant named Schisms the scariest episode of Star Trek. All of
Hmm.
Star Trek. These
Hmm.
people aren't kidding.
Tim Stalk, what's up, buddy?
Yes, I'm just
Scariest
going to
one,
say
huh?
that again. In 2021, Screen Rant
Oh yeah.
named Schisms the scariest episode of Star Trek, all of Star Trek, of all
Scariest, huh?
time. And they are serious.
Wow. I never even think of Star Trek as scary. So if you were to ask me just in conversation, what's the scariest episode of Star Trek? I'd be like, I don't really know. Maybe there. I'm not saying there aren't scary ones, but I don't know. I'd have to like look at episode guides and go, maybe that one. Maybe I don't know. See where I'm coming from? It's like I don't really think of Star Trek as needing to be scary. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
just I like pulling Screen Rant into Clubby's Clubhouse so that we can
yeah, we beat up on them a little
we
bit.
beat up on them, and I love Hungry
Screen
Boy.
Rant sucks. What?
Bite me.
Bite
Do you
me,
know what I
Screen
mean?
Rant.
That's Hungry Boy. Wait. I love Hungry Boy so
Way to
much.
go, Free Boy rocks.
Yeah,
Oh lordy. So yeah, scariest one. I'm so yeah.
I don't find it scary at all.
No.
It's the alien abduction shows on the sci-fi cable channels at this time, and on like the History Channel, and on all of the channels. Like it was just we were at maximum alien abduction stories at this time, and so yeah, uh,
Yeah, not really my bag to be honest.
no,
Scariest. I mean, now that I don't even know what the scariest is. If there's a scare, I mean, yes, they had scary stuff sometimes, sure, I don't know. Star Trek doesn't really need to be scary for me, but I'm not a big horror guy anyway. I'm going to tell you. So, are we ready for rating, or did you have more note?
I love this from Enigmatic Drop Bear. Scariest, an
Scariest one.
unadulterated load of absolute rubbish.
One day we'll throw the question out there one day. So, you guys, what do you think the scariest Star Trek is ever?
Yeah, nude Moogie that's scary.
Oh
That's
my goodness, Wolfie! Thanks a lot for that.
Moogie. Yeah, I 100% agree with both of you. Yeah, so
Wow.
this is a C plus for me, boss.
What did I write? I wrote it down and forgot. Yeah, I wrote a C minus. Again, I thought it was a fairly interesting idea, and then it certainly had some creepy moments if that's your bag, but I didn't really get that into it. The one thing, I do think we should get another opinion on this outside of all of ours. Let's check in with Mr. Worf.
For you, Mr. Worf, I would love to explore Klingon memories. Klingons do not allow themselves to be probed.
Wanted to check with that. Just want to make sure with Worf. So Worf didn't allow himself to. That's another thing. How about at the end? They find out what's going on instead of just Riker getting off of there. Find a way. I was hoping they would find this is silly, and this is the 12-year-old in me. They find a way to go over to that ship and send Worf over there to whoop some alien ass. But that's just me.
Exactly. Send a proper away team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Doomsday Machine was a scary.
Yeah. I like Katie Carr's instant reaction. Moogie.
Oogie. Oh my god! Just the way he said that was scariest. The scariest thing in that episode to me. What's his face? Rom would say that.
Yeah.
I'm always biased to the lighthearted, family-centered Trek episodes. Well, me too, Katie. Me too. So, my friends out there in the chat, what is your rating of Schisms and anything you might have to say? Go. And while we're doing that, I will. While number one is collecting your reviews,
Dun, dun, dun.
I will present us with a couple of limericks from the great Max Redstone. Who's up for that?
Let's do it.
All righty. Hang on a second. All right. There we go. Okay. Schisms, folks. We have two of them for you for this one. It's from the great Max Redstone, everyone. Here we go. Aliens usually have some charms. They shouldn't cut off crewmen arms. They cause more cruelty than hearing Data's poetry. But before Riker sounds the alarm. Okay. One more.
This is some cherry Max Redstone here. I'm laughing and my head's pounding and I'm still laughing. This is cherry Max Redstone.
One more. We got one more. Okay, here we go. On the Enterprise is a large. Start over. On the Enterprise is a lack of glee. The crew is losing an arm or a knee. In sleep, they couldn't say no. If it was a year ago, they would have said, "Here, take Wesley." Max, championship, Max. That's fantastic.
Oh, so funny.
Oh my God.
Edie says Max is pure gold. So much better than the episode.
Yes.
Go Edie.
Good
go
Lord.
Edie.
Thank you again, Nick Weiser, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate those gifts. Thank you so much.
You got a wonderful gift from Eric that's coming up. It's starred.
Okay. Thank you. JT Kirk says 8 hairball barbs out of 10. The plot idea was chin scritchins. The execution was clumped litter. The scratched furniture of the episode would be forgiven if the aliens had declawed Wesley Crusher.
I love you, JT. I love you. I love you, JT.
Oh,
so funny.
Well done, sir. Well done, buddy. Kal-El says A. Really? This episode was clearly a commentary on the alien abduction phenomena, while today it is mocked with derision on the Enterprise. It is taken seriously. The lack of dismissiveness. Hang on. Okay. Oop, 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 oop. All right, here we go. Shows the level of trust amongst the crew, which was also demonstrated in the episode Realm of Fear. The
Mhm.
scene where the abductees each began to describe the same room, which is right here. Oop. Hang on, Cal. I'm getting there. Weird. Okay, it's number 3 or 4. They were all in is one of my favorite scenes of the season. It was very effective in communicating the fear of the characters involved that they shared experiences or that their shared experiences were indeed real. Let me
Yeah,
find
and
your
that
your
confirmation
number
would be
4.
vital if you were in that position, wouldn't it, Kal-El?
Yes. Yes, it would. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Cal, let's see here. The episode's resolution was predictable but satisfying. It's just too bad that we never learned more about the race responsible for the abductions in the first place. Wow. Yeah, I hear you there. Well
Mhm.
done and well said as always to the great Kal-El. Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Nice review, Kal-El. Thank you.
Indeed. Pleasant Valley Picker says, "Well, I'll give it a C as I barely remember it. Sorry for the nothing wrong with the brief review. That's
We
fine.
don't
Thank you
mind at
so
all,
much.
honey.
No, we're good. Let's see here. We have ED if you're ready to go for our great enigmatic drop bear number one.
Yes,
We'll
and
do the
hopefully I won't miss any more additions to the chat. So let's do this.
go
It's a
for it.
four-parter. Edie, enigmatic drop bear. The erudite bear may drop the mic on this. He's giving it a D. There was so much potential in the underlying premise of this story. Unfortunately, like Data's poetry, it's stitchic, uninspired, and monotonous. Picard told them to monitor the anomaly for any change. So why did they stop monitoring it? Geordi said, no danger until it spreads, which it subsequently did. Ignorance of crew abductions, ignorance of vivisections, ignorance of temporal inconsistencies and poorly conceived antagonists. Where were the designers from Hellraiser when you need them? Vivisections. That's very well played. Very well played. Right, are you saying the Decker unit got declawed? I love you, Edie. No amount of technobabble could recover this episode. It's all too stupid. I give up. Okay, so Edie dropped the mic in the chat. So if you want to drop a mic for Edie, I'd really appreciate it. Drop a mic for Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Eric K,
Eric.
thank you so much, buddy, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. The alternative factor is the scariest. In the future, man will glue orangutan pubes on your face.
So true. I mean, that's why
Wow.
I hate that episode. And I love you, Eric K.
This is one where we're different, going all over the place a little bit with this. It's an up and down all over the place episode. It's getting reviews from all over the spectrum, which is interesting. You've got Eric Carroll who says an A, disturbing in the best possible way. The holodeck scene was an instant classic. Thank you so much for that, Eric K. A lot of, I mean, again, you have people that agree and well all over the place with this one tonight. So that's excellent.
Mhm.
Wolfie says rating B plus. Yes. This is creepy and very thought-provoking. Creatures that exist in such an alien part of the universe, they have to create a bubble just to experiment on us. Sweet.
Sweet.
Says, the only thing that would put these subspace aliens over the top would be if they were non-humanoid in design. I kind of think these guys know who species 8472 are.
Yeah.
Interesting. They might. The scene where they piece together the surgical table with the saw instruments and restraints was pretty creepy. Great use of the holodeck for this exercise.
That is
Thank
true.
you.
That's
Well
a very
said.
good point.
Absolutely well
I
said
also
there.
like that they used a crewman that was not a part of the bridge crew.
Yeah, and we didn't even know who that was till we saw it like a couple of times, but that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. Mega Cropper says AB. Thank you, Mega Cropper. We appreciate you. Our wonderful friend Katie Carr says, "Solid C for being not quite watched by me, and for being not quite watched by me, and from what I've read about the episode, not my cup of tea." Oh, because okay, I got you. I got you, Katie. Phantom Outsider says, D. This was poorly executed. The satisfying ending would have been capturing one of the aliens and sending them to Detroit instead of everyone in the crew get to revisit Shades of Gray. If done today, Worf would be flanked by Gloria Allred and sue those aliens for unwanted probing, and the aliens didn't follow Bob Barker's advice and spray and neutered the Decker unit. Uh, that gets it an A plus. Wow,
Oh my god.
duder.
Stop loud because my head hurts too much. But Phantom Outsider, I love you.
Eric A says a C. Okay. Wolfie says, oh yeah, I forgot. Clicky noise language that universal translators can't decode. Good stuff. Pretty sure Signs ripped this off for an alien language. I guess it could be, yeah. Now, B, we have one from Jill if you'd like to read that one.
Yeah, let's do it.
No more reviews?
She's giving this episode a B. She says TNG achieved a creepy episode with the Tetrion particle and kidnapping and dismemberment mystery, explanation and science plot holes notwithstanding. Also, ode to Spot.
Ode to Spot. Yeah, there you go. Well, nobody else?
That's it.
We have time for if anyone wants to put one review up there, but if not, no biggie.
I like how ED's just like, I give up. And I like how the chat just threw microphones at him. Oh, Nerat
says, I give it a C, like the alien abduction parallel trope, but I hate the big clumsy alien hands so much. Gotcha.
Yeah, and the delicate instruments juxtaposition. It's just, okay, so how are you handling that? You have no opposable thumb. And, obviously, I don't know. Just look at that claw. What's happening there? How did you even sew the clothes you're wearing?
I think we got Mark D with the C coming up with one soon.
Firing soon. Oh, fire in the hole. Fire in the hole.
I don't. Mark C, it's a tragedy. He didn't get to review his favorite episode of the night, which we all know was Man of the People. Maybe.
Farscape actually did the big hands things correctly. Yes, Nerat. I totally agree. I love Farscape.
Nice. There you go. Oh, well. Yeah, but wait. So if you said firing, I think that means firing soon. I think that means he's giving us one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cronenberg mockingly laughs at this episode, I imagine. Yeah, imagine, just look at that claw. And then look at how tiny their eyes are. Like, if they ever got dust in their eye, how would they rub the... Oh, here comes Mark.
There we go.
There, you want me to start him?
We're good. I got it.
Okay.
Mark David says B+. Creepy episode, but it ultimately misses the mark by not following up with a future episode on these beings from the negative zone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're from the Negaverse.
He's making a Marvel Comics.
By daylight.
He's making a Marvel Comics Fantastic Four reference there.
Oh, well, I did Sailor Moon because I'm a mom, and I had to listen to a lot of Sailor Moon
Lord.
as a mom.
Oh, my goodness. Yep, I hear you. It was an interesting mystery, a 2 of 2, and the story builds well until we're ultimately let down with the ending. It gets points for giving us ode to Spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hands of the aliens look like they belong to the Penguin from Batman Returns. Yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah.
You just don't buy that such a precision, intricate instrument would fit in that hand. In what way? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not to be vulgar, but look at how tiny their noses are. I mean, imagine if you had to blow your nose with that mitt. Or if you had something in your eye, or going to the washroom. What's going on with that hand?
I don't know.
That's a weird looking hand for the delicate features of the creatures. The creature features, they don't coincide with the evolution of the hand. The hand sort of seems like, rare.
I would have just kind of liked to have seen them. I know it would have been probably cornball, but them actually catch the aliens and stop them, and then so, hey, look, you know what? You can do this to a lot of people. You can't do this to us. And people, you need to watch. Doing this to spacefaring races is eventually going to catch up to you. Is there technology? I know they're in subspace, but the Enterprise did figure out what was going on. So I don't know. I wish they could have. I know they got away, but I wish they hadn't gotten away. Maybe that's a weird way to write it. Maybe you shouldn't just leave it to the imagination. I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I guess there's a good point to be made that makes it creepier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
Wolf
Anyway,
and weird-looking hands. Not everyone keeps their genitals in the same place.
Anything you want to tell me? Was the follow-up line, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I love her with the cigar. She's
Oh,
so beautiful.
I'm on. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well. We got 4 more, and next week we'll have 4 more. So we did it. Number 1. Wow.
Eric Carroll, the whole planet, they just use bidets.
Indeed. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We're going to do some show notes, and then we're going to say our goodbyes to all your wonderful folks, and then we'll get out of here. But let's see. First of all, I would like for all of you to take a look at the wonderful works of literary science fiction of my wonderful first officer, and of course, take a look at this, and then we'll come back and say our goodbyes.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like any follow-up words to that, or?
No, I could sure use your support. I just want to thank everyone who has left the amazing comments. I actually turned all of your comments into a review video, and I'm showing it to everyone. So I love your comments, and I just appreciate all your support. Like, you guys are just so articulate and kind, and just you guys are just great friends, and I do love you very much. And thank you. Oh, and I got to put this up.
Hmm. Sorry, everyone. I was eating an M&M. I'm guilty. There we go. Anyway,
The Easter M&Ms are out, by the way.
oh yes,
The ones that look
That's
like
true.
eggs, but they have peanut butter inside of them, or you can get the peanut ones, and they look like Easter eggs. They're out.
I might have to get those. Andy Derivative July Wonderful Communications Officer informs us that our next episodes, the next 4 episodes, which will be next week reviewing. Oh, there we go. First of all, Mark T with a C with a last-minute review of Man of the People. F-. Man of the People, can it get any worse? Please, no more Troy episodes. You wish.
BC has to go home, boss. He's got to sign off. Pleasant Valley Picker, British Columbia says,
Okay.
I have to head out. I'm getting tired. If you leave
Have a
and
good
you
one.
hear the shout out, it's okay, sweetheart. We're going to shout you out anyways because you're our friend. But don't feel obligated.
Yes.
Rest.
No, when you got to go, you got to go. Don't worry about that. But thank you, Pleasant Valley, for being here. And yes, so next week's episodes are True Q, Rascals, A Fistful of Datas, and Quality of Life. Thank you so much, Jill. Let's see. Thank you so much, Mark D. Let's see with that review. Okay. Let's see here. Monday night, I don't have it programmed yet, but Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk, we will do a little bit of a tribute. It's been a year since our dear departed friend Mark C.'s passed, and we'll just pay a little bit of a tribute to him. And that's the only thing I have planned right now, other than next week's Saturday Night Star Trek. But of course, I will have a show, as always, next Wednesday night, and then of course Clubby's Clubhouse next Thursday night. And so Please subscribe to all the wonderful channels in our descriptions below, including the great Mark D with a C, our engineer. His channel, please go check us out. He's got new videos and stuff all the time. And thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Let's say our goodbyes. Number one, how about that?
Let's do it, boss.
Big goodbye to the great Mark D with a C, our chief engineer. Thank you, sir.
Mark.
Thanks for popping in, bud. Let's see here. Let's see. Where am I? Okay. Our wonderful chief engineer, excuse me, security. Listen to me. I can't get anything right. Communications officer, anti-derivative Jill.
Good night, sweetheart.
I believe our buddy Lord Thoth had to run, but hail to Lord Thoth and Mrs. Thoth, our chief of security.
Good night.
Raymond Feliciano and Sandra Feliciano, our helm and navigation. They had to run out early, but hail to them.
Good night.
Our buddy, the chef, Mr. Angel, had to run, but shout out to Mr. Angel.
Yeah.
That Comic Relief Crusader, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Good night.
Phantom Outsider, buddy, good to see you, man. Thank you so much.
Yes.
J-Man was not able to stay with us, but he did pop in, so all hail the great J-Man.
Night.
Cardinal Sin, I don't know if you're still with us, Gil, but thank you so much for your wonderful contributions. They are very much appreciated, my friend.
Good
I
night.
thank you, and always a pleasure to have you join us. We're always honored to have you join us. JT Kirk, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
love
JT.
you. I enjoy your company immensely. Thank you for stopping by. It was great. Have a great week and have a great weekend, JT.
Absolutely. Our good buddy D-Bud Martin had to run, but all hail D-Bud.
Night, bud.
The great bronze windshield Eric K. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you, brother.
I just love you. Thank you for your company, for your friendship, for helping us to produce the show and and taking care of us. You're just wonderful. I just think you're such a great guy. Good night, honey, and I'll see you next week.
The great Steve Mitchum, thank you, brother. Maddie's daddy. I hope Maddie's doing well.
Yeah, I hope that she's on the mend.
Yes.
I know that she wasn't feeling well, so I'm sending kisses for her whole beautiful little precious face. Yeah, I hope she's better. Good night, Steve.
Enigmatic Drop Bear, my friend. Thank you so much. Always just a great to have you here, and I appreciate how much just thank you so much. Your reviews are incredible.
Yeah, and so much effort goes into them, and just communicating your thoughts and just adding value to this channel, and just generally being a wonderful person and a great friend to all of us. So thank you for your company. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, my friend.
Scuba Pete and wife.
Scuba Pete and Mrs. Scuba Pete.
Hail
I
to
love
you
guys.
Kal-El, my super buddy. Thank you so much for being here, buddy.
The
Appreciate
real
you.
soup.
Indeedishness. Big shout out, an extra shout out to the work that the above and beyond the call, the great Max Redstone for his amazing contributions to the show with his limericks. Max, I know you're not here right now, but shouting you out anyway in case you do hear it later, whatever. You just fantastic, buddy.
Yeah, and I want you to keep working on publishing them. Please make sure that you're keeping a copy of all of them, because making a Saturday Night Star Trek or the Next Generation limerick book, I think, would be just brilliant for you. That's my advice to you, and I really encourage you to follow that advice. I think a lot of people would be interested in the publication of that nature, and certainly the quality is there. And when I say that, I mean your writing. So keep it up, Max. Good night, honey.
Michael Beacom, thank you as always for being here, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, you're a great guy, Michael. Thank you so much for your wonderful conversation. See you next week.
Chris Persia, the great master of Canadian wrenching. Good to see you, bud.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Thank you so much for being here, Eric Carroll. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. We're honored to have you. Good
night, Eric.
He is just the master of a great creator in his own right, the master of and creator of the Claboni, Hungry Boy, or Hungry for Irish Stew, and the Silence of Patty Stew. Thank you, my buddy. Always just does my heart good to see you here, my friend. Thank you.
So smart, so funny, so great to be around. And tonight he loaded the chat up with some hysterical comments. I wish I had the time to read them all, but you had me in stitches all night long, Hungry Boy. I just love you. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon.
Mr. Tickle Trunk, thank you.
Yeah, another sweetheart. Good
Thank you
night,
so
honey.
much. Absolutely good to see you. Tyrell72, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Good night, Tyrell.
Always just pleased to have you with us. We really appreciate you. Pleasant Valley Picker, I think he had to run, but thank you,
Yeah.
Pleasant Valley.
Yep.
BC, you always say, right?
Yeah.
Parrot Head, buddy, thank you so much. I know you're out there somewhere sending me pictures and stuff, and I always appreciate them. Thank you.
Night, Parrot Head.
Zacharat315, thank you so much, Zacharat.
Night, Zachariah.
Trevor Cunningham, thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, he was podcasting. He wasn't in the live chat.
That's
So
fine.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us, Trevor. It was great to have you. Thank you for
I'm
supporting.
not sure people know what you mean when you say that you mean they're just listening rather than participating, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I got
When
you.
they're
No,
podcasting,
no.
it's yeah, they're listening
I
to
just
it
wanted to
more of
explain it
an
so people
old
get what
radio
you're saying.
show instead of being
Gotcha.
live in the chat and watching the visuals. And
Gotcha.
it is a weird circumstance, isn't it? Because it's like TV, but it's not TV, and it's like old time radio, but it's not old time radio, and it's interactive, and so you can actually have a two-way conversation. So it is a very odd development in our technological march forward.
Pippi Gate, a new person, a new fella,
Yeah.
a new friend. Thank you so much. James Caserta, thank you for being here.
Good night.
Lee Anthony Davis, thank you.
Good night.
Wolfie, thank you so much.
Ow, ow,
Be careful.
ow!
The Woke Breaker, thank you so much for being here tonight. Keely Child, Roll Tide. Captain James T. Skywalker, thank you, sir, for being here.
Good night.
Cavatino, Caverman Shea, hey, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Good
The
night.
great Just Joe Jobber, buddy. Oh, it's a pleasure.
Night, Joe.
Double C, thank you for popping in.
Good night.
JD Lewis, I believe had to run, but JD Lewis, thank you so much. Mega Cropper, as always, very
Yeah.
happy to see you here. Thank you, Mega Cropper, for listening and hanging out and
Yeah.
participating. The wonderful Dad Man and the Dad Man clan, big shout out to you for popping
Yeah.
in there, and good, just the best of clobbering time, love and vibes to you, buddy,
Yes.
and your wonderful family. And you're not an X-Men Bear. Thank you so much. Always great to see you.
Yep. Agreed. Night, Neuron.
Thank you for popping in, Mr. Larry. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yep. You were great tonight, Larry. Larry. Thank you for stopping in.
The Nerdporio Live Forum. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello. We always like to see you there. Thank you so much.
Good night.
The lovely, beautiful Sherry
Yeah.
baby. Sherry baby. Good to see you, Sherry. Thank you so much. Zathras. Always good to see the great Zathras.
I have a migraine, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I love
telling you.
you. It'll just be a little weak like Wolfie's ow ow ow. So here it is. Crap, crap, crap.
Don't hurt yourself. The lovely and the beautiful Katie Carr. We're so always just does our heart good to see you here, Katie. Thank you.
Good night, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Mm.
JT5, thank you for being here.
Good night.
The great Ace Cast On brother, man. I'm always good to see you there, buddy. Thanks for popping in, bud.
I'm so happy you were here.
Big time good to see you, brother. The wonderful Apollomes Minion and
the pupper, the truck dog, the pupperoni. This smoochies for the cutest little pupper ever.
great to see you here, Tim's Talk. Thank you so much. And last but not least, the great 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser was here.
Yeah.
And I hope I didn't miss anybody, but sometimes I do because I can't get everybody. I miss some of them get by me. But anyone else, and also those of you out there listening on the chats or in a replay or whatever, I want to don't thank them enough. I want to thank you all. And if you are listening on a replay or something like that, please like the video if you would. If you like it, if you didn't, that's fine, of course. But if you did, please like it. And consider subscribing to the channel and checking out the other things we offer. So thank you all so much for another wonderful, great time that number one and I have had with you for Saturday Night Star Trek, and we look forward to this so much. And when's the B7 stream? Well, as soon as a few friends get finished with Blake 7, it's coming. Because some wonderful friends of mine, including number one here, and some others are almost to the end. They're watching it. J-Man, Mark. It's coming. I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit to do that, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll put out the word. When I put out the word, I don't know where you see anything. All where I put everything announced, but and I'll put it in the community for YouTube as well. I'll put it in announcements and everything.
Yeah.
Got to run. Mark D with the say, all right, buddy. Take care. Have a great fun. Have a great time, bud. Keep
Good
in
night,
touch.
sweetheart. Tell everyone we said hello.
Hello to all, and good luck to you, man. And thank you all. So Blake 7 is coming. In the meantime, good night, everybody. And as always, big shout out to my wonderful First Officer Armor Briggs for this fantastic intro out there that she made for me. And a shout out to Mark D with the C for helping us get it here. Thank you so much. And see you next time. Clobber on, clobberers, and trek on, trekkers.